Chapter 2429 Path of a Ruler. The average person would stop expanding when their small world reached 1,000,000 miles after reaching the Great Emperor realm. However, Lu Ming did not stop at all. He continued to expand at an increasing speed. 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 2 million miles, it's actually still expanding. In that case, continue to refine it. Refine it for me. Lu Ming kept taking out supreme-grade raw gemstones and stones of chaos. A large number of supreme-grade raw gemstones were refined. Fortunately, Lu Ming had abundant resources. Over the years, he had killed many opponents and accumulated a large number of resources. Furthermore, he had obtained too many resources on the Void God Island. There were over 20,000 chaos gems and primordial chaos gems each. There were countless supreme-grade raw stones. Lu Ming did not even count them. If it were an ordinary person, they would not be able to afford to consume them. Lu Ming did not care about the resources at all. No matter how many resources he had, the most practical thing was to turn them into abilities. As a large number of resources were refined and transformed, Lu Ming's small world continued to expand wildly. 3 million miles, 4 million miles. In the end, Lu Ming's small world expanded to 10 million kilometers before it stopped. The others had just broken through to the Great Emperor realm and their small world was only 1 million miles wide. However, Lu Ming's small world had a radius of 10 million miles, which was 10 times the size of others. This was the distance between the length and width. As for the surface area, it was unknown how many times it was, at least 100 times. This was already comparable to a small world of the Heavenly Emperor realm. Of course, the amount of resources consumed was also shocking. Lu Ming had used up 3,000 chaos gems. As for the supreme-grade raw stones, there were an even more shocking number of them. Lu Ming did not even count them. However, it was all worth it. Lu Ming could feel that the world energy in his body was extremely rich. It was not like the world energy that an ordinary Great Emperor could possess. I'm still a 1-star Great Emperor, but my world energy is many times more powerful than the world energy of other 1-star Great Emperors. Lu Ming muttered. Fliss' current world energy was really too strong. There's a different type of energy in the world force. All of a sudden, Lu Ming sensed that his world energy was mixed with a trace of purple gold energy. Moreover, Lu Ming felt that this energy was extremely shocking and much stronger than world energy. Could it be my great Tao? Lu Ming thought of the great Tao that he controlled. With a thought, his body emitted a purple light. There was a kind of power that he controlled. The power was extremely mysterious, but it exuded a terrifying power as if it ruled over everything. At this moment, Lu Ming seemed to have become one with the entire world. It was as if the energy of the entire world could be used by him. He dominated everything. Lu Ming seemed to be able to dominate everything. With a single thought, a mountain and river diagram in the distance turned into ashes and dissipated. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. This power was too terrifying. If I had only thought about it. This is my great Tao. No, great Tao definitely doesn't have such powerful might. I seem to have become one with time. However, it's different from the heavenly Tao. Lu Ming's thoughts were filled with doubts. He realized that the great Tao he controlled was completely different from the other great Taos. He was certain that the other great Taos would not be able to withstand a single blow from him. However, it was also different from the heavenly Tao. Even his power of the world was mixed with this power. It was different from the great Tao and also different from the heavenly Tao. It seemed to be a brand new Tao. It should be related to my cultivation. One cultivate 81 types of nomological laws, which is why this wonderful Tao was born. Lu Ming analyzed. The fundamental structure of the world was the laws. There were thousands of laws, but the core was the 10 strongest laws and many king path laws. Although there were many other ordinary laws, their effects were far less than the 10 ultimate laws and the King Path laws. As for Lu Ming, he had mastered all the ultimate maxims and most of the King Path maxims. After breaking through to the Great Emperor realm, he had mastered a mysterious Tao. I wonder how powerful this Tao of mine is. Lu Ming pondered, then closed his eyes and started to experiment. When he activated this wonderful technique, he seemed to have become one with the heaven and earth. Fliss consciousness drifted out and extended out of the stone room. Lu Ming saw everything in the other stone rooms. He continued to extend his consciousness outwards. Not long after, Lu Ming saw a layer of light screen. This light screen covered the entire area. At the very top of the light screen, there was a round pearl that was emitting a bright light. The light screen was formed by this bead. Could it be that this is the restriction of the eternal cage? A restriction formed by the evil god race's sacred ancestors' treasure. Lu Ming's heart stirred. If we can open this restriction, we can go out. Lu Ming's eyes lit up, but then he smiled helplessly. Qing Tsang and the others had said that not even a peak heavenly emperor could penetrate this light curtain. Moreover, it had a terrifying offensive power that could even kill a peak heavenly emperor. Then, how could he open it? However, Lu Ming really wanted to give it a try. He had a feeling that he could dominate everything. Phi could even open the light screen here. This was the feeling he got from that wonderful Tao. I'll try. In the end, Lu Ming made up his mind and decided to give it a try. A wisp of purple gold light flew towards the light screen. It was the wondrous Tao. Buzz. Waves spread out from the light screen, and finally, a crack appeared. It's a success. It's actually a success. Lu Ming was ecstatic. The light screen seemed to be under his control. It was an extremely mysterious feeling. Then, Lu Ming quickly put away the wonderful way and the light screen returned to normal. Duo Lei was in control of the treasure and Lu Ming was afraid that he would alert him. At this moment, Duo Lei, who was cultivating in a secret room, suddenly opened his eyes. Could it be that someone is attacking the restriction? You really don't know what's good for you. Duo Lei mumbled as he observed through the bead. He controlled the bead and could observe everything that was happening on the light screen at any time. However, Duo Lei didn't find anything. Phi didn't find anyone attacking the light curtain. Could it be an illusion? Duo Lei frowned. Phi then carefully observed for a while, but did not find anything, so he ignored it. At this moment, Lu Ming was overjoyed. It really worked. He could really open the restriction. This meant that he could leave at any time. This wondrous Tao is too wondrous, too profound. Lu Ming waved his hand and his palm emitted a purple gold radiance. It was the physical manifestation of the wonderful Tao. I've never heard of this Tao before, but it seems to be able to dominate the world. Let's call it the Tao of domination. Lu Ming came up with a name. The Tao of a ruler. I don't know how strong my current combat strength is. Lu Ming pondered. Before his breakthrough, Lu Ming could fight a weaker one-star celestial emperor to a draw if he used all his strength. Now that he had made a breakthrough, his world power had increased tremendously, and he had mastered the ruler's Tao. Fliss' combat strength had definitely soared. Chapter 2430. Preparing to escape. Lu Ming had a feeling that he could kill a one-star celestial emperor with just the world energy and the dominator's Tao without using his physical body. One had to know that he was only a one-star great emperor. If he could kill a one-star heavenly emperor, it would be equivalent to crossing an entire major realm to kill the enemy. For it to happen to a great emperor or heavenly emperor, it was an unbelievable thing. The higher one's cultivation level was, the harder it was to fight those of higher cultivation levels. To be able to cultivate to the heavenly emperor realm, which one of them wasn't a peerless genius? Only by mastering an ultimate maxim could one cultivate to the heavenly emperor realm. Therefore, towards the end, it was extremely, extremely difficult to cross a minor realm to fight an enemy. Not to mention crossing a major realm to kill an enemy. Moreover, this was only Lu Ming's estimation. In addition to his physical strength, Lu Ming's combat strength would be even stronger. From now on, Lu Ming had entered the ranks of the powerhouses in the Heaven Realm, Primordial Realm, and Evil God Realm. Now is not the time to leave. With my strength, even if I leave, I will be discovered and caught up to. Moreover, even if I leave, in the vast Evil God world, where should I go? Lu Ming started to think again. In the end, he decided to discuss it with Qin Cang and the others. He might even escape with them. Lu Ming stopped and stood up. He walked to the door and gave it a hard push. The door was pushed open. The eternal cage was not strictly managed. It was mainly because of the divine ancestors' treasure, which covered the entire area. No one could break the restriction. Therefore, Duo Lei and the other alien races were at ease. Usually, Lu Ming and the others could enter and leave the stone rooms freely. To Duo Lei and the rest, Lu Ming and the rest could only move around within the area of the restriction at most. They could not run away. Moreover, those above the celestial arch level had chains and armors that could seal their cultivation base, providing them with an additional layer of insurance. Lu Ming walked out of the stone room and followed the passageway. Soon, he arrived at the entrance of another secret room. He knocked on the door and a voice came from inside, "Come in." Lu Ming pushed the stone door open and walked in. Qin Cang was inside. Qin Cang was lying on a blue stone and drinking wine leisurely. "Huh, brother Lu Ming, you came at the right time. Drink with me." Qin Cang smiled, took out a pot of wine, and threw it to Lu Ming. This wine was given to Qin Cang by Lu Ming. There was no wine to drink in the eternal cage. Lu Ming took it and took a sip. "Brother Lu Ming, did you have a breakthrough in your cultivation?" Suddenly, Qin Cang's eyes lit up. Although his cultivation was sealed by the chained armor, his eyes were still sharp. He could tell at a glance that Lu Ming had made a breakthrough. "I just broke through," Lu Ming said. "Let me see, what is the great Tao you have comprehended?" Qin Cang quickly asked, very curious. Lu Ming had mastered 81 types of laws. He was also very curious about what kind of great Tao he would master when he broke through to the great Emperor realm. Lu Ming nodded. He was about to ask Qin Cang. Qin Cang had lived for a long time, so he might know what the great Tao he had comprehended was. With a single thought, a domineering aura emanated from Lu Ming's body. At the same time, a purple-gold light emanated from his body. Qin Cang's expression turned grave when he sensed Lu Ming's aura. "Big brother Qin Cang, do you know what Tao this is?" Lu Ming asked. "It's so strange. I've never seen or heard of such a Tao." Qin Cang shook his head. Qin Cang looked at it carefully and revealed a surprised expression. "What a terrifying Tao. There's a domineering will in it. In front of this Tao, I'm afraid that ordinary great Taos won't be able to withstand a single blow. Only the heavenly Tao can contend with it. Moreover, your cultivation is still weak now. In the future, as your cultivation improves, it will become even more amazing and powerful." Sigh, what a pity. Qin Cang let out a long sigh. "Big brother Qin Cang, what's a pity?" Lu Ming said. "It's a pity that you're locked up here. Otherwise, with your talent, you might be able to create a miracle in the future and break through the last barrier to enter the supreme realm. If that's the case, the heaven realm might be able to defeat the evil god tribe." "What a pity." Qin Cang sighed. "Big brother Qin Cang, we might be able to get out," Lu Ming said in a low voice. "What? Brother Lu Ming, what do you mean by that?" Qin Cang glared at him. "Big brother Qin Cang, I won't hide it from you. I've named my great Tao the Tao of Sovereign. I've opened the restriction of the eternal cage through the Tao of Sovereign. Lu Ming explained the situation. What? Qin Tsang's eyes glowed with a bright light. Even though he was sealed by the chain armor, a terrifying aura still emanated from him. Brother Lu Ming, you said. Is it true? Qin Tsang's voice trembled. He had been locked up here for too long and had no hope of leaving. Now that he heard that he could leave, he was naturally excited. Yes, it's absolutely true. However, I'm afraid that Duo Lei will soon find out after opening it, so I came to discuss it with Big Brother Qin Tsang. Lu Ming said. It doesn't matter. As long as I can get out of this restriction, I can break free from this sealing armor. At that time, even if Duo Lei finds out, I'm not afraid of him. Qin Tsang said with great confidence. Qin Tsang was different from the Titan Longhorn and the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm. Although he had been captured during the ancient battle, his injuries hadn't been that serious and he had long since recovered. As long as he could break free from the seal, he would immediately recover his peak Heavenly Emperor cultivation base and wouldn't be afraid of Duo Lei. Then where are we going after we leave? Lu Ming asked. I'm going to the prison suppression field, so I'm going with Wu Tai and the others. This time, I'll take this opportunity to bring more people out. Qin Tsang said. Lu Ming nodded. He had the same intention. There were too many experts in the eternal cage. The number of Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouses was also shocking. If they could bring them out, they would definitely be able to cause great trouble for the evil god tribe. That way, the pressure on the heaven realm would also be reduced. He couldn't give up on this combat power. Immediately, Lu Ming and Qin Tsang discussed the details. Then, they looked for Wu Tai and told him about the matter. When Mrs. Wu heard this, she was shocked at first, but then she was overjoyed. The 3 of them discussed who they should bring out. This matter had to be carried out strictly. He had to bring along people he could trust. If this matter was exposed to the alien race, they would probably seal Lu Ming or even kill him. Everything would be over then. After some discussion, Wu Tai and Qin Tsang started to take action. They revealed this matter to some people they could trust and discussed when to take action. In the end, there were more than 30 people who knew about this. Of course, if they wanted to escape, it would not be just these 30 people. Each of them could find an excuse and invite some people to go with them. As long as they did not tell them the specific details beforehand, they could escape together when Lu Ming opened the restriction. In the end, they decided to wait for Duo Lei to gather them before taking action. Because when he finished absorbing battle chi, he would definitely need to cultivate. By then, he would be at his lowest alert. Chapter 2431 Inst-killing the Heavenly Emperor. As expected, after half a month, Duo Lei gathered everyone for a competition again. Without a doubt, Lu Ming was called up again. Lu Ming did not use the way of domination. He only used his physical strength and a part of the world's energy to fight with a 1-star celestial the arch for hundreds of moves. I've broken through. Duo Lei's eyes flickered. He could naturally tell that Lu Ming had a breakthrough. However, even if Lu Ming broke through, he was only at the Great Emperor realm. He did not care much about it. In his opinion, Lu Ming's physical strength was too strong. Even if he had a breakthrough in the laws, it would not increase his overall combat strength by much. After more than a day, the duel ended. Lu Ming and the rest returned to their respective stone rooms. After returning to the stone room, Lu Ming waited quietly. After a few hours, Lu Ming opened the stone door and went to Qin Gang's stone room. When he arrived at the Qin Tsang stone room, he found that there was another big man in the room. This burly man did not know that Lu Ming and the rest's plan was invited by Qin Tsang. Not long after, Mrs. Wu also arrived at Qin Gang's stone room with 2 people. Wu Tai, old brother Qin Tsang, why did you call us here? The 2 men who came with Mrs. Wu asked. These two people didn't know the specific plan. "We're looking for you guys, just come with us," Qing Tsang said. Then, he walked out of the stone room first, followed by Lu Ming and the others. The few of them were very curious, but they did not ask much. They followed Lu Ming and the rest. Lu Ming and the group entered a passageway and strolled around casually, heading to the periphery of the eternal cage. At this moment, many people began to take action. Those who knew the plan invited 1, 2, or 3 people. They strolled around casually and headed to the place where Lu Ming and the rest had agreed on. Lu Ming and the rest turned left and right, bypassing a few passages, and came to a relatively large stone room. This stone chamber was the outermost one. If one walked through the passage outside the stone chamber, they would reach the edge of the restriction. When Lu Ming and the rest arrived, there were already a few people waiting there. As time passed, more and more people arrived. A moment later, there were a total of 133 people. Among the 133 people, there were a total of 300 people who wore chain armors on their bodies, indicating that they were all Heavenly Emperor realm existences. Only 30 of them were below the Heavenly Emperor level. "Everyone, why did you bring us here?" someone else asked. Those who were invited here were also very curious. Qing Tsang and the others didn't answer. "Everyone's here, let's go," Qing Tsang said as he walked away. The people who were invited were even more curious. However, those who were invited were usually very close to someone, so they didn't ask much and just followed Qing Tsang. Gradually, they approached the entrance of the passage. They could even see the light barrier outside through the passage. "Do you want to escape?" Finally, someone guessed what Lu Ming and the rest were up to. Their expressions changed drastically. There was no way to break this restriction. Furthermore, those above the Heavenly Emperor level were all wearing chain armors that sealed their cultivation. It was impossible for them to escape. If he tried to force his way through, he would only die. "Do you want to die?" Some people were a little anxious. "Would we do that if we weren't confident?" "Just follow us," someone said. Many people's faces became extremely solemn and uncertain. They hadn't expected that Qing Tsang and the others would actually try to escape. For countless years, no one had managed to escape. "What are you guys trying to do?" At this moment, a loud roar came from the passage entrance, and a burly figure appeared. It was a foreign being wearing blood-red armor and had a powerful aura. Everyone's expression changed drastically. Usually, there were no foreign races in this passageway. Because the non-human kind was very confident in their inhibition formations, the security was very loose. There was no non-human kind guarding this place at all. Today, a foreign being had actually appeared. Moreover, it seemed that his cultivation was very profound. He was a foreign being in the Heavenly Emperor realm. Unlucky, he was really too unlucky. Qing Tsang, Wu Tai, and the others' faces turned extremely ugly. A Heavenly Emperor alien, this is troublesome. Qing Tsang could tell that this was a one-star Heavenly Emperor. It should be known that those above the Heavenly Emperor realm all wore chain armors. Only those below the Heavenly Emperor realm did not wear armor. They couldn't do anything to this Heavenly Emperor, and once he made a scene and alerted Duo Lei, everything would be over. All his plans would be ruined. Many people who knew the plan were burning with anxiety. What to do? Buzz. At this moment, a figure burst out and charged toward the non-human Heavenly Emperor. It was Lu Ming. Lu Ming took action immediately. At this moment, there was nothing to hesitate about. They could only escape after killing this alien. Otherwise, they would all be finished. Lu Ming's speed was shockingly fast. His entire body was covered in a purple glow. He used all his strength the moment he attacked, using the way of the master. In the process of rushing out, the Great Desolation Spear appeared in Lu Ming's hands. Lu Ming burst out with all his strength, becoming one with the spear, and stabbed at the alien celestial Thearch. This is, the non-human celestial Thearch's pupils contracted sharply. He felt a fatal threat from Lu Ming's attack. It was unbelievable that a great emperor could give him such a feeling. However, he didn't have time to think. He roared and used all his power to form layers of defense. As long as he could block this move and escape in the other direction, he would spread the news of what had happened here. Lu Ming and the rest would be finished and he would be able to make a contribution. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming's attack had already arrived. The alien's expression changed. This was because the defense that he had set up could not withstand Lu Ming's attack at all. Wherever the spear radiance passed, all his defenses collapsed instantly. No, no, how is that possible? The non-human celestial Thearch roared in his heart. Pfft! A long spear pierced through the void and pierced through his forehead. Buzz! The spear trembled, and the non-human heavenly emperor was torn into pieces. He was dead. Everyone was dumbfounded and completely stunned. A one-star heavenly emperor was killed by Lu Ming in one move. Oh my God, what kind of strength was this? Lu Ming was only at the Great Emperor realm, but he was able to kill a one-star heavenly emperor with one move. His combat strength was too terrifying. In fact, this was normal. The Dominator's Tao was too powerful. Lu Ming's world energy even contained a trace of purple gold energy. Lu Ming called it the Dominator's energy. Now, Lu Ming did not need a physical body. He felt that he could kill a one-star celestial Thearch with the law system alone. Just now, with the addition of his physical strength and the power of the Great Desolation Spear, it was not surprising that he could kill a one-star celestial Thearch in a second. Buzz! After killing the alien celestial Thearch, Lu Ming did not stop and rushed out of the passage. Chapter 2432 Race Against Time. After Lu Ming rushed out of the passage, he put away the Great Desolation Spear and smacked the light curtain of the restriction with his palm. What does he want to do? Those who didn't know the plan were shocked and their faces changed. It was impossible for Lu Ming to break the light curtain by attacking it like this. It would also alert Duo Lei. However, it was too late for them to stop him. Buzz! Lu Ming's palm carried a purple gold light. It hit the light curtain of the restriction and caused layers of ripples. Lu Ming used the path of domination to break the restriction. The Tao of a sovereign ruled over all things, and it could even rule over this restrictive barrier. Ripples appeared on the barrier, and Qin Tsang and the others watched with wide eyes. Although they heard from Lu Ming that he could break the restriction, they had not seen it with their own eyes. They could not help but feel nervous. Buzz! Suddenly, the restrictive barrier shook. Then, a crack appeared on it. The crack grew bigger and bigger, forming a huge hole. It opened. The light screen of the restrictive spell was activated. Qin Tsang and the others were ecstatic. As for those who had been invited and didn't know the original plan, they were all dumbfounded and couldn't believe their eyes. The light curtain of the restriction was actually opened by Lu Ming, who had not broken through to the Heavenly Emperor realm. How was this possible? Legend had it that the light screen of the Eternal Cage was formed by a treasure of the non-human race's divine ancestor. It was indestructible and even peak Heavenly Emperors couldn't break it. But now, Lu Ming had broken it. Pa! Someone gave himself a tight slap. What are you doing? Someone asked in surprise. I'm checking to see if I'm dreaming. Am I daydreaming because I want to go out too much? So I'm not, ha ha ha. The man burst out laughing. The others were speechless. Go quickly. Otherwise, when Duo Lei finds out, none of us will be able to leave. Qin Tsang roared and ran forward. The others also seemed to wake up from a dream and ran after him. Hurry up, I can't hold on for long. Lu Ming shouted as well. He realized that the energy consumed to open the light screen of the restriction was terrifying. Now, his world energy was flowing away at an alarming rate. Buzz. Whoosh. Qing Tsang, Wu Tai, and the others quickly rushed out and finally arrived outside the light curtain. At this time, Duo Lei, who had been in seclusion, suddenly opened his eyes. His face was extremely ugly. Damn it. He had discovered Lu Ming and the rest instantly through the treasure of the divine ancestor. He was extremely shocked. Lu Ming could actually open the light screen of the restriction. This was unprecedented. Damn it, none of you can leave. Die. Duo Lei roared as he controlled the sacred ancestor treasure. Buzz. At this moment, the bead above the eternal cage began to shake violently. It exuded a terrifying aura, and the restrictive barrier trembled violently. Pfft. Lu Ming felt a terrifying force pressing down on him. His body shook violently and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. The hole that he had opened up was healing rapidly. Fortunately, everyone had escaped. Lu Ming's muscles trembled and he rushed out of the light screen before it could heal. None of you will be able to escape. Duo Lei's roar came out of the eternal cage as a terrifying aura burst out and spread out for 1,000,000 miles. Duo Lei and the peak Heavenly Emperor Realm experts had gone mad. It was earth-shattering and terrifying. At this moment, those who hadn't managed to escape from the eternal cage were all shocked. What's going on? What's happening? Duo Lei has gone mad. Could it be that someone is trying to escape? Who is so bold? Many people were making guesses. Everyone, attack. Pursue the escapees and kill them without mercy. Duo Lei's voice was heard again. He chased after Lu Ming and the rest at an extremely fast speed. All the alien races in the eternal cage were alarmed and they chased after Lu Ming and the rest. Someone has escaped. The remaining people who didn't escape were dumbfounded. Someone actually managed to escape. Roar. At this moment, outside the light screen, Qing Tsang howled into the sky, his roar shaking the heavens. A dazzling golden light erupted from Qing Gang's body, and the endless golden light hit the chain armor. Bang! 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 The chain armor kept exploding, and Qing Gang's aura became stronger and stronger. Qing Tsang used to be one of the top 10 battle beasts. He was a peak heavenly emperor and his combat strength was amazing. He could break the chain armor with his own strength. However, in the past, when he was inside the light curtain, he couldn't get out even if he broke his armor. He would be suppressed by the holy ancestor weapon controlled by Duo Lei. But now that he was outside, he had no scruples. Qing Tsang. A loud roar came from the distance as a burly figure appeared. It was Duo Lei. Duo Lei had arrived. Buzz. A destructive light burst out of Duo Lei's third eye. This destructive light turned into a giant hand that passed through the light screen and bombarded Lu Ming and the others. He was going to kill Lu Ming, Qing Tsang, and the others. Roar. Break. Qing Tsang roared as a terrifying power exploded from his body, destroying the chain armor. With his chain armor destroyed, Qing Gang's aura became even more terrifying. His body emitted an infinite amount of golden light as his body rapidly transformed into a giant lion. It was a giant lion with 9 heads and a golden body that looked like it was carved from gold. It was the 9-headed golden lion, one of the top 10 battle beasts. Roar! 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 The 9 heads howled, and the entire eternal cage shook violently. The space around it exploded into pieces. Duo Lei's destructive hand also shook crazily, but it was blocked. At this moment, Wu Tai and the others were also crazily attacking the chain armor. However, they weren't as strong as Qing Tsang, so they couldn't break through at all. In the distance, many powerful auras rose up. The other powerful beings of the alien race were also coming. Elder brother Wu, let me help you. Lu Ming came to Wu Tai's side and used his nominator's power to help Wu Tai break the chains and armor. If a ruler's power could break through the barriers set up by a non-human sacred ancestor's weapon, it should be able to break through this armor as well. And sure enough, as soon as the sovereign's power poured into the armor, the seal was destroyed. In the blink of an eye, all of the sealing power was broken. Boom! Wu Tai's armor exploded and a terrifying aura emanated from his body. Ha ha ha, I'm finally free. Wu Tai laughed out loud. His aura was like a smoke signal, rising to the sky and stirring up the wind and clouds. Although Wu Tai wasn't as powerful as Qin Tsang, he was still a terrifying existence. He had reached the level of a 6-star heavenly emperor. He wasn't far from the peak of the heavenly emperor realm. Damn it! Duo Lei bellowed in anger and exploded with all his strength, launching a series of terrifying attacks. However, Qin Tsang wasn't afraid of him at all. His 9 lion heads roared and shot out beams of light as he fought with Duo Lei. The two of them had similar cultivation levels, and they were locked in a fierce battle. Chapter 2433 Escape. At the same time, some powerful beings from the other alien races also rushed out of the light screen and attacked. Brother Lu Ming, go and help the others. I'll block them. Wu Tai Dao strode forward and killed those foreign kinds. Lu Ming, on the other hand, rushed to the other man to help him break the chain and armor. With Lu Ming's help, the person broke through the armor in a few moves and a terrifying aura emanated from his body. He was also a 6-star heavenly emperor from the prison suppression field, who was no weaker than Wu Tai. This time, he was the one who had escaped, along with Wu Tai and Qin Tsang, who were the strongest. Brother Lu Ming, thank you. The man cupped his fists and then rushed toward Wu Tai. Together with Wu Tai, they fought against the alien experts. There weren't many foreign experts guarding the eternal cage. There were only 18 heavenly emperor stage existences. This was because the divine ancestor weapon and the peak heavenly emperor Duo Lei were enough. There was no need for so many experts to guard the place. There were 18 celestial thearchs. Lu Ming had killed one earlier, so there were 17 left. Among them, there was only one 6-star heavenly emperor. Now that there were 2 6-star heavenly emperors, the non-humans were at a disadvantage. Many people heaved a sigh of relief. They were safe now. At least, with their current strength, they didn't need to fear the foreign tribes. Lu Ming continued to help the others break their armors. As more and more experts joined the battle, the non-humans were completely outmatched. After a few of their heavenly monarchs were killed, the remaining ones didn't dare to fight and retreated into the light barrier. Damn it! Duo Lei roared continuously, his face grimaced. He could only fight with Qin Tsang and couldn't deal with the others. They were outside the light curtain, and he couldn't control the power of the restriction to deal with Qin Tsang and the others. That kid, it's all that kid's fault, Lu Ming, Duo Lei bellowed in his heart. He swept his gaze at Lu Ming, his eyes filled with malevolent killing intent. All of this was because of Lu Ming. If not for him, Qin Tsang and the others would not have been able to escape. He could not wait to crush Lu Ming's bones and scatter his ashes. Now, it was too late for regrets. If he had known this would happen, he would have put Lu Ming on the chain armor. Duo Lei, I'll fight you. Wu Tai let out a long howl and charged toward Duo Lei. The other 6-star heavenly emperor and 2 5-star heavenly emperors also rushed toward Duo Lei. As for Lu Ming, he continued to help the others break their armors. Qin Gang's combat strength was not weaker than Duo Lei's, and with the other 4 experts joining forces, Duo Lei was immediately at a disadvantage. Roar! Roar! Qin Gang's body was as big as a mountain, and he was covered in golden light. His 9 heads attacked with 9 different divine arts. As for Wu Tai and the others, they cultivated the immemorial system, so their offensive power was also extremely powerful. With a wave of their hands, there were terrifying saber lights and sword lights that could split the sky and earth. For a moment, Duo Lei was no match for him and was forced to retreat. Qing Tsang seized the opportunity and rushed over. He clawed out and left a deep wound on Duo Lei's body. Duo Lei's face was pale as he retreated rapidly. "Kill!" Qing Tsang roared. He didn't want to let Duo Lei go, so he launched a fierce attack. Wu Tai and the others also attacked with all their might. Detestable. In the end, Duo Lei let out an angry roar, turned around, and rushed into the light curtain of the restriction. There was nothing they could do about it. Without the help of the light barrier, the experts guarding the eternal cage were no match for Qin Tsang and the others. "Let's go, we have to leave quickly, go." Qin Tsang shouted and turned to leave. A powerful force swept up the others, turning them into a golden light and flying into the distance. They disappeared in the blink of an eye. "Quick, report this to the higher-ups and send people to attack Qin Tsang and the others along the way. We must capture them." Duo Lei roared and gave the order. All of a sudden, more than 100 heavenly emperors, including a peak heavenly emperor like Qin Tsang, had escaped. If he couldn't catch them, he would definitely be punished. They immediately sent the news to the 10 royal families. Lu Ming and the rest were also making the best use of their time. Their next destination was the prison suppression field. This was what they had planned long ago. Out of the entire evil god field, only the prison suppression field could accommodate them. Otherwise, even if they managed to escape, they would be captured by the alien races. They would either be captured or killed. He would only be safe if he escaped into the prison suppression field. They had to hurry and get to the prison suppression field as fast as possible. It was certain that the foreign races would send experts to encircle and annihilate them. The good thing was that the eternal cage wasn't far from the prison suppression field. Qin Tsang, Wu Tai, and the others wrapped the others with their power and hurried on with their journey. As for Lu Ming, he continued to help the rest of the people break their armors. As long as more people could recover their combat power, they would be able to fight even if they were surrounded by the foreign races. They specifically chose barren mountains to fly in. Not long after, everyone's chains and armors had been broken by Lu Ming. Everyone had regained their combat strength. More than 100 heavenly emperors, this was an extremely terrifying force. They increased their speed and traveled through space. They did not encounter any obstacles on the way. More than 100 celestial thearchs. It was too terrifying. Even if the alien races received the news and temporarily mobilized so many powerful people, they could not catch up to Lu Ming and the rest. If they wanted to send people to snipe, they could only send the experts in front of Lu Ming's group. However, there were not many experts in front of Lu Ming's group in such a short time. Even if some experts discovered Lu Ming and the group, they did not dare to stop them. Therefore, Lu Ming and the rest had a smooth journey. They were about to reach the prison suppression field after half a day. The prison suppression field was not an independent field from the evil god field. It was only a part of the evil god field. A vast area was covered in layers of black fog. The prison suppression field was in the black mist. There were large numbers of alien armies stationed in all directions of the prison realm. The two sides had been fighting for countless years. The non-humankind had invested a large number of experts in this place. Because the prison suppression field was also very strong and often sent people to attack the alien races. If the alien races didn't send strong people, they would be killed and defeated by the prison suppression field. In the mountains to the east of the prison realm, a group of people flickered in the mountains. There were about 2 people in this group, and they were all humans. They were the humans from the prison suppression field. There were 6 heavenly emperors and the rest were great emperors. This time, they had come out to ambush and kill the alien races. This sort of thing had happened countless times over the countless years. They concealed their auras and were extremely cautious. This was because they might be hunted down by the alien races when they tried to kill them. After passing through the vast mountains, a military camp appeared in front of them. An army of the foreign races was stationed here. Their goal today was to destroy this army. Kill. The leader of this group was a burly man with a 3-star Heavenly Emperor cultivation base. He was the commander of this group. Chapter 2434 Scaring the Alien Races to Death. Buzz. 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 They turned into streams of light and rushed out, killing their way to the camp. Instantly, attacks rained down mercilessly, killing a large number of alien races. Enemy attack. The roars spread throughout the camp. One figure after another flew out of the military camp. This was an army of 10,000 soldiers, and even the weakest one was at the Void Emperor realm. The most powerful general was also a powerhouse of the Heavenly Emperor realm. There were 2 celestial emperors in this army. Kill them. As soon as the 2 heavenly kings appeared, the human commanders of the prison suppression field targeted them and attacked each other. Not good, retreat. The alien heavenly emperor realized that there were 6 heavenly emperors among the people from the prison realm. He knew he couldn't defeat them, so he gave the order to retreat. One by one, the outsiders rose into the air and retreated. At the same time, a brilliant light shot into the sky and disappeared into the depths of the heavens. This was a signal for the other alien races to come and help. Kill. The humans of the prison suppression field started a massacre. They were all elites. There were 6 heavenly monarchs in total, and the rest were great emperors. They could be said to be the elites of the elites. The alien races were killed one after another. In just a short while, they had chased for 100,000 miles and killed thousands of alien races. However, they didn't dare to pursue further. They would be in danger if other foreign tribe powerful beings came to their rescue. Retreat, retreat. The commander of the prison suppression field ordered. More than 2 people quickly retreated. However, they didn't retreat far before their expressions changed. Because behind him, a dense crowd of figures had appeared, all of them from foreign races. There were at least tens of thousands of alien races, and some of the leaders had terrifying auras. There were a total of 10 heavenly emperors. 10 non-human heavenly emperors appeared behind them. The human race from the prison suppression field looked terrible. Not good, we've been ambushed. Charge forward. The commander of the prison suppression field shouted. However, as soon as he finished speaking, the foreign kinds who had just escaped returned. And there were even more of them. Furthermore, the number of heavenly emperors in the lead increased from 2 to 6. Furthermore, one of them had an extremely terrifying aura that far surpassed the other celestial emperors. He was a peerless expert of the alien race, a 4-star heavenly emperor. Hee, you want to ambush us? Don't think that we don't know. We're just waiting for you to fall into our trap. A non-human heavenly emperor sneered. The people from the prison suppression field were in despair. Obviously, the alien races had set up a trap and were waiting for them. Once they made a move, they would be surrounded. There were 6 foreign heavenly emperors in front of him, and one of them was a 4-star heavenly emperor. Behind them, there were 10 foreign heavenly emperors. On the other hand, there were only 6 heavenly emperors. The difference in strength was too great. They were no match for them at all. It was likely that none of them would be able to escape today. Kill them, let's fight it out with them. Right, let's fight it out with them. Killing 1 is enough, killing 2 is enough. The eyes of the humans from the prison suppression field were red with determination. Since he couldn't escape today, he would fight to the death. Even if he died, he would make the other party lose a piece of flesh. Doit, kill. The alien expert ordered. Kill. The humans from the prison realm also roared and charged at the alien races. The 2 sides collided with each other. Instantly, Screams rose and fell, from both the alien race and the human race. However, although the human race of the prison guard world were all elites, there were too many alien races, and there were more masters than them. Once they fought, they were completely at a disadvantage, and people were being killed. Kill, kill. A peak Great Emperor wielding a battle blade slashed out and killed a non-human Great Emperor. However, he was immediately sliced in half by a Heavenly Emperor's axe and died. Tragic, extremely tragic. Not long after, more than half of the more than 2 humans from the prison suppression field were killed. If this continued, it was only a matter of time before they were completely annihilated. Boom! 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 At this moment, a violent boom came from the sky in the distance. The void was constantly exploding, and the rumbles were getting stronger and stronger as they approached rapidly. Even the people on both sides stopped fighting and looked in that direction. Boom! The void exploded, and more than 100 people suddenly appeared in the void not far away. So many experts. Sensing the auras of these 2 odd people, the foreign kinds were almost scared to death. The aura was too terrifying. With more than 100 auras gathered together, some of the weaker alien races were immediately pressed down. Big Brother Wu, it's Big Brother Wu. The commander of the prison suppression field shouted in excitement. Of course, the more than 100 people were Lu Ming and the rest. When they got close to the prison suppression world, they saw a battle in the distance. It must be a battle between the prison suppression world and the alien race, so they came immediately. Wu Lu, it's you guys. Wu Tai looked at the commander and then scanned the scene. When he saw the human bodies from the prison suppression field, his eyes turned red. Alien scum, die. All of you must die. Wu Tai roared. Kill them all. The others also shouted and suddenly started to attack the alien race. Over 100 heavenly monarchs and 30 great sovereigns were too powerful. The non-humans were no match for them. In an instant, thousands of alien races were killed. Go, quickly go. The rest of the foreign kinds screamed in fear. They didn't dare to resist and fled in all directions. There were more than 100 heavenly emperors. How could they fight against them? Don't even think about leaving, kill. Kill. Large groups of alien races were killed, and their corpses fell to the ground. Even the heavenly emperors of the foreign races were instantly blown up. Among Lu Ming's group, there were many 4-star heavenly emperors and above. Kill. Ha. Kill. The remaining 50 people from the prison suppression field all shouted in joy. At first, they thought they were dead for sure this time. They didn't expect a group of experts to suddenly appear on the way. Moreover, the number of experts was terrifying. They completely crushed the foreign races. They launched a counterattack. Run, run. The non-human heavenly emperors were terrified and wanted to run away. However, how could they possibly escape when they were surrounded by so many celestial emperors? Die. Wu Tai held off the 4-star heavenly emperor of the alien race and charged forward. 6-star heavenly emperor. The other party was in despair, not understanding why so many experts had suddenly appeared. He fought back with all his might, but the gap between a 4-star heavenly emperor and a 6-star heavenly emperor was too big. In one move, he was severely injured by Wu Tai, and in the second move, he was killed. Qin Tsung didn't make a move, because there was no need to. Lu Ming did not make a move. Previously, he had used up a lot of energy to open the light curtain of restrictions, especially after being discovered by Duo Lei, who had controlled the light curtain of restrictions. On top of that, he had been removing armors for the others along the way. Now, he needed to recover. Lu Ming took out a large number of supreme-grade raw gemstones and devoured the raw gemstones' original energy to recover. This was a one-sided battle without any suspense. A large number of alien races were harvested and killed. Chapter 2435 Another prison suppressing steel. Not long after, all of the foreign races on the scene were killed. Tens of thousands of alien races, a total of 16 celestial emperors, all exterminated. Brother Wu Tai, how did you escape? I heard that you were locked up in the eternal cage of the alien race. Wu Lu flew over and looked at Mrs. Wu with excitement. Before Mrs. Wu was caught, she had a good relationship with Wu Lu, so she was naturally happy to see him again. It's a long story. It's all thanks to Brother Lu Ming. Let me introduce you. Mrs. Wu pointed at Lu Ming and Qin Tsang and introduced them to Wu Lu and the rest. Nine-headed golden lion. When Wu Lu and the others found out about Qin Gang's identity, they couldn't help but be shocked. All right, let's pack up and go back to the prison suppression field. Mrs. Wu said. Then, they took the storage bracelets and weapons left by the alien race and flew to the prison suppression world. The prison suppression field was like a black light shield covering the land of the evil god field. It formed a world of its own, vast and boundless. Soon, they were close to the prison suppression field. Lu Ming found that there was a light shield in front of him, blocking his way. The reason why the prison suppression field was able to resist the alien races was because of this light shield. The alien races couldn't break this light shield at all. At this point, Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. That was because he felt the bloodline of the prison suppressing steel in his body buzzing and emitting a burning light. It was as if he was extremely excited. Buzz. In front of him, the light shield also trembled. What's going on? Wu Tai, Wu Lu, and the others were shocked. The light shield of the prison suppression field had never moved. It wouldn't even shake when a peak heavenly emperor attacked it. But why did it suddenly shake? The people from the prison suppression field looked at each other with worry in their eyes. Lu Ming was also secretly shocked. Is the prison guarding world really related to the prison guarding steel? Otherwise, why would the prison suppressing steel have such an abnormality? Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind. He could feel that the prison guarding steel was about to fly away. Lu Ming quickly suppressed and controlled the prison guarding steel, hiding it in his body. The prison guarding steel was the key to suppressing the third bloodline. If the prison guarding steel flew away, who knew what would happen? At the very least, he could not let the prison suppressing steel fly away for the time being. Lu Ming felt that the third bloodline was like a time bomb. Wu Lu sent a message. Not long after, a door opened automatically in the light shield. Lu Ming and the rest walked into the light shield. As he walked into the light shield, Lu Ming felt that the strange movement of the prison suppressing steel in his body was stronger. When they all entered the light barrier sealed up again. Wu Lu, are you guys alright? Immediately, someone came over to greet him. Lu Ming swept his gaze across the crowd. There were many people and they were all humans. Elder Lu, take a look. Who's back? Wu Lu laughed heartily as he walked forward, welcoming an old man with snow-white hair. The old man swept his gaze across Lu Ming and the rest, his expression ecstatic. Mrs. Wu, Wang Qi, it's you guys. The old man saw Wu Tai and the others and called out in surprise. This time, most of the people who escaped were from the prison guard world. There were not many from the heaven realm. The people from the prison guard world were overjoyed to see Wu Tai and the others return. Elder Lu. Wu Tai and the others went up to him. You're all back. Good, good, good. Elder Liu's face was full of smiles, and so were the others. With so many people back, and all of them were Heavenly Emperor Realm Masters, the strength of the prison suppression field would be greatly enhanced. I heard that all of you have been locked up in the eternal cage. No one has ever been able to escape from that place since ancient times. How did you get out? Someone asked. The others also looked at Wu Tai and the others curiously. It's all thanks to Brother Lu Ming, Wu Tai first introduced Lu Ming and the rest, then briefly explained how they had escaped. After Elder Lu and the others heard this, they were naturally secretly amazed. They were shocked that Lu Ming could break the restriction of the eternal cage and even kill the celestial arch at such a young age. It's good that you're back. Let's go, I'll inform the Elder Council and we'll celebrate. Elder Lu said, and then spread the news. Then, they flew toward the inside of the prison suppression field. The prison suppression field was vast, no different from a world. They flew past a large area of mountains and rivers. Suddenly, Lu Ming's pupils contracted sharply, and he was extremely shocked. After flying for a while, they saw a stone tablet in front of them. This stone tablet was incomparably huge. It stood on the ground, supporting the heavens and the earth. It was unknown how high it was. It gave off an infinite amount of light. A pillar of light shot out from the tablet and pierced the sky. On the tablet, there were 3 big words, the prison guarding steel. The prison guarding steel, there was a prison guarding steel here. Furthermore, it didn't look illusory, but real. Could there be 2 or more prison suppressing steels? At this moment, many thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Buzz. At this moment, the prison-suppressing steel in Lu Ming's body shook even more violently, especially the 3 big words prison-suppressing steel, which were shining brightly. Buzz. In front of him, the huge prison-guarding steel suddenly shook, and a terrifying wave spread between the sky and the earth. What's going on? All the people from the prison suppression field were shocked. The prison-guarding steel suddenly shook, which was a rare thing. However, it was not over yet. The prison-suppressing steel that stood between heaven and earth was shaking more and more violently, and it kept buzzing. Boom! Boom! Not only that, but violent rumbles also came from other directions. The entire world was shaking. All the prison-guarding steels are shaking. How is this possible? Elder Lu cried out in alarm. The prison-guarding steel was the foundation of the prison-guarding field. Because of the prison-guarding steel produced a light shield that isolated the outside world from the outside world, so the alien races couldn't get in. Without the light shield, the prison suppression field would have been annihilated if the alien races had gathered all their forces. The prison-guarding steel had never shook so violently before. What had happened? At this moment, the prison-suppressing steel in Lu Ming's body also shook crazily. It was getting more and more intense. In the end, Lu Ming could no longer suppress it. Buzz! Lu Ming's body glowed with a brilliant light. Then, the prison-suppressing steel emerged from his body and quickly grew in size, turning into a giant steel that reached the sky. It resonated with the prison-suppressing steel in front of it and echoed each other. This is the prison-guarding steel. Elder Lu, Wu Tai, Wu Lu, and the rest roared in disbelief when they saw the prison-suppressing steel on Lu Ming. Prison-guarding steel. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. His mind whirred. At this moment, he thought of many things. Buzz. Whoosh. At this moment, beams of light flew over from the distance. Each beam of light contained an expert. There were old men and middle-aged men and women. All of them had powerful auras and were all at the world realm. Prison-guarding steel. When they saw the prison-suppressing steel above Lu Ming's head, they all exclaimed in shock. Chapter 2436, The Origin of the Prison-Suppressing Steel. The origin of the prison-suppressing steel. A group of powerful beings from the prison suppression field looked at Lu Ming in shock. They had sensed the commotion here and had rushed over to check it out. They had not expected to see such a scene. No, not only the prison guarding steel, but also the soul of the prison guarding steel. Ha ha ha, it's really the blessing of our ancestors. The prison suppressing steel and the soul of the steel have returned. From now on, the 9 steels are all here. The masters from the prison suppression field laughed like crazy. However, there was a change in Lu Ming's body at this moment. The third bloodline let out a wild roar. The sea of blood was filled with endless blood qi. Lu Ming's body was covered in a layer of blood qi as if it was going to devour him. Buzz! The prison-suppressing steel above Lu Ming's head trembled and emitted an infinite amount of light. Waves of powerful suppressive force suppressed the third bloodline. Boom! 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 The third bloodline trembled violently and exploded with shocking power to fight against the prison-suppressing steel. The prison-suppressing steel buzzed and shrunk. It flew back into Lu Ming's body, suspended above the third bloodline, and suppressed it. The third blood meridian was finally suppressed by the powerful suppression force and slowly flew back to Lu Ming's spine, hiding. Lu Ming took the opportunity to control the prison-suppressing steel bloodline and made it fly back to his spine. The huge prison-guarding steel in front of him also quieted down and everything returned to normal. Everyone's eyes were on Lu Ming. "Little brother, how did you get the prison-guarding steel and its soul?" Elder Lu looked at Lu Ming with a burning gaze. "Prison-guarding steel? Are there many pieces of the prison-suppressing steel?" Lu Ming did not answer but asked a question instead. "There are 9 pieces of the prison-guarding steel, 1 main steel and 8 sub-steels. They are the natal treasures of the ancestors of the prison-guarding world. But in the ancient war, the prison-guarding steel was broken, and the soul of the main steel disappeared. 2 of the main steel's fragments disappeared. Now, there are only 8 sub-steels and 1 fragment of the main steel in the prison-guarding world. Together, they form a prison-guarding formation to guard the prison-guarding world." Elder Lu explained patiently. "I see." Lu Ming nodded. He didn't expect there to be 9 prison-suppressing steels, 1 main steel and 8 secondary steels. The main monument had been shattered, and the 2 fragments that Lu Ming had obtained were the fragments of the main monument. It was no wonder that the prison-suppressing steel had an unusual reaction when Lu Ming came here. "Little brother, how did you get it? You even managed to get the soul of the main monument. We thought that the soul of the main monument had already disappeared." Elder Lu continued to ask. "Senior, the soul of the main monument you mentioned was automatically awakened from my body when I was cultivating. It can be considered my bloodline. As for the 2 fragments, I obtained them later by chance." Lu Ming explained. "A bloodline that was awakened from the body?" Elder Lu and the others were all stunned. "In my opinion, the soul of the prison-suppressing steel did not dissipate. Instead, it took the opportunity to be reborn from this little brother's body." Another white-haired old man from the prison suppression field said. This man was also an elder of the prison suppression field, and his cultivation was unfathomable. "That's right, it's really the blessing of the ancestors." The other people from the prison guard field were all smiling. "Little brother, please follow us." Elder Lu smiled gently and then flew toward the depths of the prison suppression field. The other people from the prison guard field also followed. Lu Ming, Qing Tsang, and the rest also joined in. Mountains and lakes flew under their feet. They didn't know how far they had flown, but they had come to the depths of the prison suppression field. In front of him, a towering mountain peak appeared. At the peak of the mountain, there was also a stone tablet. However, this stone tablet was only a fragment. There was only a section of it that stood on the peak of the mountain. Just like the prison-suppressing steel, this broken steel also shot out a black light into the sky. This is the other piece of the prison-guarding steel. After combining it with the other 2 pieces in your body, you will have the complete prison-guarding steel. An elder from the prison suppression field smiled. Lu Ming's eyes were glowing. He had never given up on looking for the other fragments of the prison-suppressing steel. However, after so many years of searching, he had not found any clues. He did not expect that the last fragment would be here. Lu Ming could feel that the prison-suppressing steel in his body was shaking non-stop as if it was about to break through the air and leave. "Brother Lu Ming, we have a presumptuous request." Elder Lu looked at Lu Ming. "Senior, please speak." Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The 9 prison-guarding steels are the natal treasures of the ancestors of the prison-guarding world. In the ancient war, the ancestors fought against the enemy and died, leaving only the prison-guarding steels to guard our line. However, the 9 prison-guarding steels are incomplete and can't be used to their full power. On behalf of the prison-guarding field, I would like to ask Lu Ming to return the prison-guarding steel to the prison-guarding lineage so that the 9 steels can be combined into one. This way, the 9 prison-guarding steels can be fully utilized. He said. Elder Lu said. As expected. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. When Elder Lu had said that he had a presumptuous request, he had already guessed that the other party would make this request. The other people from the prison suppression field looked at Lu Ming with hope. "Senior, please forgive me for not being able to agree to this condition." Lu Ming smiled bitterly and said. "You can't agree." Elder Liu's face changed slightly. "Lu Ming, you've saved Wu Tai and the others. By right, we can't make such a request of you. However, the prison guarding steel is too important to us. Please return it. We of the prison guarding lineage will definitely compensate you accordingly. If you have any conditions, please state them." "Senior, that's not what I meant. It's really difficult to return it." Lu Ming shook his head. Elder Liu's face looked a bit ugly, and so did the others from the prison suppression field. "Kid, you don't know what's good for you. Elder Lu said he would compensate you. Besides, the prison-suppressing steel belongs to the prison-suppressing branch. You have to hand it over." A burly man in the crowd shouted. "What did you just say?" "Shut up." Wu Tai shouted coldly as he looked at the man. Lu Ming was Mrs. Wu's savior. He was naturally unhappy that this person threatened Lu Ming. "What's wrong? The prison suppression field wants to take it by force." Qing Tsang also spoke coldly, exuding a powerful aura that made one's heart tremble. "Everyone, please don't misunderstand." Elder Lu smiled bitterly, then turned to the burly man who had just spoken. "Brother Lu Ming, you are an important guest of the prison guardians. Watch your words." "Yes, Elder." The burly man's face was a little pale. He nodded repeatedly and did not dare to speak. However, most of the people from the prison-suppressing field were still looking at Lu Ming longingly. Obviously, the prison-suppressing steel was very important to them. "Senior, it's not that I'm stingy and unwilling to return the prison-suppressing steel. I have my own difficulties." Lu Ming sighed. Chapter 2437, The Origin of the Third Bloodline. The origin of the third bloodline difficulties. If little brother has any difficulties, you can tell us. My clan of prison guardians will definitely do our best to help. Elder Lu said. "Seniors, do you know of the Saint Ancestor Bloodheart?" Lu Ming asked after a moment of silence. "What? Saint Ancestor Bloodheart?" Elder Lu cried out in shock, his eyes filled with cold killing intent. How could the guardians of the prison not know of Sacred Ancestor Bloodheart? The other people from the prison suppression field also showed cold killing intent, as if they had an irreconcilable hatred. "Little brother, could this matter be related to Saint Ancestor Bloodheart?" Elder Lu asked. "In addition to the prison-suppressing steel bloodline, I've also awakened another bloodline, which is probably related to Saint Ancestor Bloodheart." With that, Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. His third bloodline flew out, exuding a cold killing intent. Boom! 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 At this moment, everyone from the prison suppression field released a terrifying aura that shot up into the sky like smoke. What shocking strength! Lu Ming was secretly shocked. There were too many experts among the people from the prison suppression field. Lu Ming even felt a few auras that were not weaker than Qin Gang's. The aura of a peak heavenly emperor. It was terrifying, and this might only be part of the strength of the prison suppression field. No wonder the prison realm could fight with the alien races for so many years and hold back part of their army. Their strength was amazing. Saint Ancestor Bloodheart. It's really the sacred Ancestor Bloodheart. She's not dead yet. The people from the prison suppression field kept exclaiming and didn't hide their cold killing intent. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat, and the third blood meridian flew back into his body. Elder Lu was deeply shocked. He let out a long breath and calmed down. I understand now. I finally understand why the soul of the prison guarding steel would awaken in your body. Elder Lu said as realization dawned on him. Senior, who is the sacred Ancestor Bloodheart? Lu Ming asked. Saint Ancestor Bloodheart is a terrifying expert. He's a supreme expert who can slaughter the world. Lu Chonglai spoke, as if he was reminiscing, and a look of fear flashed across his eyes. In the ancient times, a great war broke out. The foreign races attacked the heaven realm. The ancestor of the prison guard lineage was also a human and naturally opposed it. That was the Great War. It said that the few supreme powerhouses in the world were divided into two camps and fought each other. The ancestors of the prison guarding lineage stood on the side of the heavenly realm and the human race, while the sacred ancestor of the killing heart stood on the side of the alien race. In the ancient times, my ancestor and sacred ancestor Bloodheart fought a great battle. The battle was earth-shattering, and even the prison-suppressing steel was broken. In the end, my ancestor and sacred ancestor Bloodheart died together. Now it seems that the sacred ancestor Bloodheart has not been completely annihilated. She still left a trace of her bloodline and has been reborn in your body, hoping to awaken again. However, the ancestor obviously held back and let the soul of the prison-suppressing steel be reborn in your body to suppress the bloodline of the sacred ancestor Bloodheart. Elder Lu explained. That's right, it should be like this. The other people from the prison suppression field also nodded. I see, I see. Lu Ming had a sudden realization. He had always felt that his two bloodlines were very mysterious and did not know where they came from. Now, he finally understood. This was a game between two supreme powerhouses that spanned hundreds of millions of years. It was just that the battlefield had changed, and it had changed into his body. Lu Ming's back broke out in a cold sweat. In that case, he was really in constant danger. If not for the prison-suppressing steel, he would have been devoured by the third bloodline long ago. At the same time, Lu Ming also thought of a problem. When he wanted to break through to the martial royal realm, he needed to merge a bloodline with his body and turn it into a spiritual body. Fortunately, he had chosen the Nine Dragons bloodline. If he had chosen the prison-suppressing steel or the third bloodline, he would not have succeeded at all. Seniors, I can't return the prison-suppressing steel now. If I do, I'm afraid Saint Ancestor Bloodheart will be revived. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Ow. Elder Lu sighed, if that's the case, then don't return it. We can't let the sacred ancestor Murderheart be reborn. Otherwise, the divine ancestor and the sacred ancestor Murderheart will work together. Not only our prison guarding lineage, but the heaven realm will also be destroyed. The others from the prison guard field nodded. They still knew the severity of the situation. Anyway, the prison guarding formation formed by the prison guarding steel could still resist the attacks of the alien races, so there was no hurry. However, the bloodline of the sacred ancestor Bloodheart is also a great disaster. We should find a way to completely destroy it. That's the right way. Elder Lu said. Senior, do you have any ideas? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Although he could borrow the power of the third bloodline to greatly increase his strength and turn the tide at a critical moment, he could not do anything. However, that was a time bomb. If he could get rid of it, Lu Ming would rather not have that kind of power. The Saint Ancestor Murderheart is a supreme expert who has surpassed the Heavenly Emperor. In ancient times, such an expert was called the Ancestral Emperor. He has stepped into a completely different level of existence. He is so powerful that the Heavenly Emperor realm can't even hope to catch up with him. Even if it's just a trace of his bloodline, I'm afraid that the Heavenly Emperor realm can't destroy it. It's only possible if we get someone on the same level as the Holy Ancestor Bloodheart to attack. Elder Lu said. An existence on the same level as the Saint Ancestor Bloodheart? Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Where could he find such an existence? The Ancestor Dragon of the Heaven Realm is a supreme master. If you can return to the Heaven Realm, you will have a way. Qing Tsang said. The Ancestral Dragon? Lu Ming's gaze flickered. Everyone, you'd better stay here first and think of a way in the future. Elder Lu laughed. They left immediately and went to an ancient city in the depths of the prison realm. Elder Lu had arranged a place for them to stay. Lu Ming stayed there and cultivated in peace. The evil god tribe had 10 royal tribes, and all of them had the bloodline closest to that of the non-human divine ancestor. Each of them was high and mighty, and they ruled over their own territories. However, there were also differences in strength among the 10 royal families. Among them, the strongest royal family was called the First Royal Family. For example, the first prince, who was ranked first on the longevity roll, was a prince of the First Royal Family. In the main hall of the First Royal Family's palace, they were discussing something. The king of the First Royal Family was sitting at the top of the hall. On both sides of the hall, the kings of the other 9 royal families sat. The kings of the 10 great royal families had gathered. Everyone, Lu Ming has escaped into the prison suppression field. What should we do now? A non-human king said. Humph, that Duo Lei is really a piece of trash. I let him guard the eternal cage, but he actually let someone escape. I really want to kill him with a slap. Another non-human king shouted coldly. Now is not the time to blame anyone. We have to figure out how to deal with it. That Lu Ming has the bloodline of the sacred ancestor Bloodheart. We have to take him down and awaken the sacred ancestor Bloodheart. This is related to our clan's grand plan. The king of the number 1 royal family spoke from the highest point. Chapter 24:38 The non-human divine ancestor awakens. The whole place quieted down, frowning as they thought of a solution. The prison guarding field is protected by the prison guarding formation, which is a treasure left by the prison guarding patriarch. We can't break it with our power. A non-human king sighed. The other non-human kings also nodded. If they could break it, they would have done so long ago. Why would they wait until now? The hall fell into silence again. The matter of the sacred ancestor Bloodheart is of great importance. I can't be careless. I've decided to invite the sacred ancestor. After a while, the king of the First Royal Family spoke. Holy ancestor, please. The other non-human kings were all shocked. The non-human race's divine ancestor had been severely injured in the battle that year and had been sleeping to recuperate. They wouldn't disturb the divine ancestor unless it was an extremely urgent matter. But now, he had no choice but to do so. This was because sacred ancestor Bloodheart was too important. Since ancient times, this world could no longer give birth to supreme experts. There were only so many supreme powerhouses, and each one of them could decide the direction of the battle. Once Saint Ancestor Bloodheart was resurrected and returned to his peak, it would be easy for him to destroy the prison realm and the heaven realm. This matter was worth alarming the non-human divine ancestor. All right, I agree. A non-human king nodded. I also agree. I agree. The other non-human kings all nodded and came to an agreement. They immediately set off. On the non-human sacred mountain, the air shook and 10 kings appeared. As soon as the 10 king tiers appeared, they were immediately discovered. Heavens, what did I just see? 10 king tiers coming together. What are 10 king tiers doing at the Holy Mountain? Many alien races were discussing in shock. The 10 kings stepped out and headed straight for the mountain peak. The 10 kings didn't have to climb up step by step like the other non-human races. They had the right to reach the top. Many alien races were alarmed. They came out of their seclusion to pay attention to the development of the matter. 10 king tiers had arrived at the peak of the Holy Mountain at the same time. Something major had definitely happened. At the peak of the Holy Mountain, there was a cave. At the entrance of the cave, there was a stone door that was tightly closed. This was where the divine ancestor of the non-human race was sleeping. The stone door was carved with dense runes. The 10 kings' eyes revealed deep piety and reverence. Then, they knelt down and kowtowed at the same time. When they knelt down, their bodies glowed at the same time, turning into 10 pillars of light that shot onto the stone door. In an instant, the stone door gave off a dazzling light that illuminated the entire Holy Mountain. Gotcha! Suddenly, the stone door made a sound and slowly opened. Behind the stone door, an aura filled the air. This aura was indescribable. It was majestic and heavy, transcending everything, suppressing everything, and unimaginably powerful. Under this aura, even the heavenly Tao became extremely docile. This was the aura of a supreme expert. The Holy Ancestor has awakened. The hearts of countless non-humans on the Holy Mountain trembled, and they all knelt down respectfully, regardless of their cultivation. The sacred ancestor had finally awoken after so many years, and this made countless non-humans extremely excited. We welcome the divine ancestor. At the peak of the Holy Mountain, the 10 kings of the non-human race bowed respectfully. Why did you wake me up? A majestic and ancient voice spread throughout the entire Holy Mountain. Many alien races were so excited that they were trembling. They had never thought that they would be able to hear the voice of the divine ancestor in their lifetime. They were truly too lucky. Divine ancestor, the bloodline of the divine ancestor Bloodheart has awakened in a human youth. The king of the number 1 royal family replied respectfully. Killing intent? It seems like his plan succeeded. Where is he now? The majestic voice sounded again. Divine ancestor, there's been an accident. That young man has the prison-suppressing steel in addition to the bloodline of the divine ancestor Bloodheart. And now that young man has escaped into the prison-guarding field, which is a territory formed by the prison-guarding steel left by the prison-guarding patriarch. The king of the first royal family reported. So it's that old man from the prison guard. What a good plan. I understand now. 3 months later, I will go to the prison guard field in person. Before that, gather as many powerful figures as you can and set up the omnidirectional seal formation outside the prison guard field. This is the formation disc, take it. A majestic voice sounded, and then a ray of light flew out of the cave. The king of the number 1 royal family reached out and caught it. It turned out to be a formation disc, covered with strange patterns. Many thanks, divine ancestor. The 10 kings were overjoyed. They bowed respectfully and left. The door of the cave was closed again. That terrifying aura had also disappeared without a trace. Anyone above Great Emperor level, come out and come with us to the prison suppression field. The 10 royal families stood in the sky. The voice of the king of the first royal family spread throughout the entire Holy Mountain. Yes. Yes, sir. Countless voices were heard on the Holy Mountain. Then, many figures flew out from all over the Holy Mountain. The number was shocking. The sky was filled with people above Great Emperor. You guys wait outside the prison suppression field. I'll be there with the army. The king of the first royal family ordered. Yes. Countless great beings accepted the order and flew toward the prison suppression field. The kings of the top 10 royal families returned to their royal cities. Not long after, a large number of great beings also flew out of their royal cities and headed toward the prison suppression field. Countless great beings of other races gathered outside the prison realm. The prison suppression field was also shocked and held an emergency meeting. The foreign tribes have launched a large-scale invasion. They've mobilized countless experts. Judging from the formation, the 10 royal families of the non-human race have moved together. It seems like they're after the bloodline of the sacred ancestor Bloodheart. We can't give them the bloodline of the sacred ancestor Bloodheart, that's right. We have the prison suppressing formation. They can't break it. The higher-ups of the prison suppression field discussed and decided to fight to the end. If the lips die, the teeth will be cold. They naturally understood this principle. Once they handed over the bloodline of the sacred ancestor Bloodheart, the first to be destroyed would be the prison suppression field. In the prison suppression field, countless masters also moved, ready to fight at any time. However, the non-humans didn't attack. Instead, they started to set up a formation outside. The people from the prison suppression field were confused. Was he going to attack with a formation? But now, they could only wait. It's coming. Lu Ming muttered. He came to the periphery of the prison suppression field to observe the situation. Time flew by. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. On this day, a terrifying aura suddenly came from outside the prison suppression field. This aura was indescribable. It was simply too terrifying. The moment it appeared, the heavens and earth fell silent. It was as if the laws of the heavens and earth, the great Taos of the heavens and earth, and the heavenly Tao had all stopped functioning. Only that aura was supreme. Even though they were separated by the prison suppression formation, he could clearly feel it. Chapter 24:39 Danger. The Divine Ancestor arrives. This aura, Lu Ming's heart trembled violently and his pupils contracted rapidly. He had felt this aura before. The statue on the Void God Island was emitting this kind of aura. It was supreme and suppressed the world. It was the aura of someone of the same level. It was the aura of a supreme expert. Because of the prison guarding formation, there was a layer of black fog outside the prison guarding field. It was impossible to see through the prison guarding field from the outside, and from the inside of the prison guarding field, one could not see the outside. But now, under the pressure of the aura, the black mist outside the prison suppression field dispersed. One could see that there was a light screen between the sky and the earth that covered the entire area. It was the light shield formed by the prison suppression formation. Outside the light barrier, countless foreign races stood in the air or on the ground. There were so many of them that it was impossible to count. Suddenly, the space outside split open, and a figure stepped out of the spatial crack. However, the figure was shrouded in a layer of black light, and its appearance could not be seen clearly. However, the supreme aura was emanating from this figure. The moment he appeared, the aura became even more terrifying. It was as if he was this world, he was everything, and the heavenly Tao had to grovel at his feet. Greetings, sacred ancestor. All of the alien races were very respectful. Holy ancestor. Everyone in the prison suppression field was shocked. Divine ancestor, the non-human divine ancestor has awakened. A white-haired elder from the prison suppression field said with a trembling voice. His eyes were full of fear. This was an extremely powerful existence, but he was filled with fear when he saw that figure. He was not the only one. Many of the great beings from the prison realm were the same. The non-human divine ancestor was a supreme master, on the same level as the prison-guarding old ancestor. That kind of person was too powerful. He had transcended the heavenly path and the heavenly emperor realm. He had completely reached another level of life. Heavenly emperor-level existences were vulnerable in his hands. Now, the divine ancestor of the non-human race had actually awakened and descended. The clan of Purgatory shall be destroyed. The non-human divine ancestor said coldly, his voice filled with supreme might. Boom! The non-human divine ancestor took a step forward, and the entire sky shook violently. A huge foot formed in the sky and stomped down on the prison suppression field. It was so big that it covered the sky. It was even bigger than the entire prison suppression field. From a distance, one could see that there was a dome-shaped light shield around the prison suppression field. An incomparably huge foot, which was even bigger than the light shield, stomped heavily on the light shield. Boom! An earth-shaking explosion was heard. The entire prison suppression field was shaking and many buildings collapsed. The light shield formed by the prison guarding steel was also shaking crazily, sending out layers of waves. However, he managed to block it in the end. This kick didn't break the prison suppression formation. The prison suppression formation stabilized. Ha, it's blocked, it's blocked. He can't break it. The people from the prison suppression field were shocked at first, and then they were overjoyed. The prison suppressing formation formed by the prison suppressing steel had actually blocked the non-human divine ancestor's attack. Humph, let's see how many moves this broken formation can block. A destructive light shot out from his glabella and turned into 9 huge swords that slashed at the prison suppression formation. Boom! 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 Terrifying explosions kept sounding. The entire prison suppression field was like a small boat in the ocean, being hit by the waves and swaying with them, as if it could be destroyed at any time. The 8 sub-steels in the prison suppression field shook and shone with infinite light. At the center of the prison suppression field, the broken piece of the main steel was also shining with infinite light, strengthening the prison suppression formation. However, the non-human divine ancestor's attack was too powerful. The terrifying power made many weaker cultivators cough up blood and fall to the ground. Boom! Boom! The mountains were shaken and exploded, sending rocks and dust flying everywhere. Not good. If this continues, I'm afraid we won't be able to hold on for long. The divine ancestor of the non-human race was also severely injured. After so many years, he's still far from his peak. Otherwise, the prison suppressing formation wouldn't have been able to stop him. If all the prison guarding steels are gathered, maybe we can stop it. Many of the great beings from the prison suppression field were anxious. After all, the non-human divine ancestor was a supreme master, on the same level as the prison guard patriarch. Although the non-human divine ancestor had been injured and lost his peak combat power, the prison-suppressing formation was only formed by the treasures left behind by the prison-suppressing great ancestor. He wasn't the one controlling it, so there was a huge difference in power. Furthermore, it was only an incomplete formation. How could it block the attack of the non-human divine ancestor? It would be broken sooner or later. Now, they were caught in a dilemma. If Lu Ming returned the prison-suppressing steel, the power of the prison-suppressing formation would definitely surge. However, Saint Ancestor Bloodheart would probably be revived. If he didn't return the prison-guarding steel, he wouldn't be able to hold on and would die. Lu Ming's brows furrowed deeply. He was also considering whether he should control the prison-guarding steels and gather them to strengthen the power of the prison-guarding formation. However, in that case, without the suppression of the prison-suppressing steel, the third bloodline would definitely take the opportunity to devour Lu Ming's consciousness. The situation was extremely dangerous. What do we do? Everyone was extremely anxious. Roar! At this moment, a dragon's roar rang out between heaven and earth. The dragon roar shook the heavens and earth as a supreme pressure filled the air. Walala! In the distance, the void trembled violently and cracked open. A dragon claw suddenly stretched out from the void. This dragon claw was too big and boundless. It grabbed towards countless foreign kinds and enveloped them. At this moment, countless outsiders, including the kings of the 10 royal families, were all terrified. They felt as if they were going to be turned into ashes by this claw. "It's you, you little worm!" The non-human divine ancestor roared in anger. He waved his hand and a huge palm struck out, clashing with the dragon claw. Boom! A terrifying explosion erupted, and the sky within a radius of millions of miles exploded, creating countless spatial cracks. The same thing happened to the ground below. It kept exploding, and lava rushed into the sky. Terrifying, this was too terrifying. Just a single exchange of moves was enough to destroy the heavens and earth. If it weren't for the protection of their divine ancestor, a large number of them would have died. Roar! A dragon roar shook the sky, and space exploded as an enormous true dragon appeared in the air. This true dragon was too huge, at least 1,000,000 miles long. It circled in the sky, covering the sky and the sun. Countless people were dumbfounded. Ancestral dragon. Its senior ancestral dragon. Qing Tsung cried out in surprise. Its senior ancestral dragon. Senior ancestral dragon is here. We're saved. The great beings from the prison suppression field also laughed. Chapter 2440 Trapped Ancestral Dragon, Battle to the Death. The ancestral dragon was millions of miles long and was too majestic. Its body spiraled in the sky and its head had already extended into the depths of the firmament. When the dragon eyes opened, it was as if two suns had suddenly appeared in the sky. Ancestral dragon. Lu Ming muttered, his eyes revealing his excitement. The ancestral dragon was said to be the supreme master of the heaven realm. Even Dandan was full of respect when she mentioned the ancestral dragon. Back then, Lu Ming had obtained a drop of ancestral dragon blood and refined it in his body to improve his physical strength. Now, this ancestral dragon was obviously the real one. Roar! Roar! The ancestral dragon roared again. His body twisted and his powerful aura made many alien races pale. In front of a supreme powerhouse, ordinary heavenly emperor realm cultivators would not be able to withstand a single blow. Reptile, your injuries haven't healed yet. Do you think you're my match? The non-human divine ancestor said coldly. Although his body couldn't compare to the ancestral dragon's, his aura wasn't any weaker. It's just a battle to the death. The ancestral dragon spoke. His voice was like thunder, shaking the world. A mantis trying to stop a chariot. When the sky is split open, none of you will live. You will all be annihilated. The non-human divine ancestor said coldly. We can only fight. This was the response of the ancestral dragon. Boom! Then, the ancestral dragon reached out a claw and attacked the non-human divine ancestor. The non-human's body shone with boundless light. In the light, his body grew rapidly and became 1,000,000 miles in size. He was no smaller than the ancestral dragon. The non-human divine ancestor sent out a palm that clashed with the ancestral dragon. Heaven and earth exploded, and the scene was destructive. Set up the 10-directional seal formation. The voice of the foreign divine ancestor rang out. Set up the formation. The king of the number 1 royal family roared. An arrayed disc appeared in his hand, emitting an infinite amount of light. Countless beings of the foreign races made strange hand seals and runes appeared on their bodies. Countless runes were released from the bodies of the foreign races. With the king of the number 1 royal family as the core, they formed a large formation. Endless runes started to gather, forming huge chains that wrapped around the ancestral dragon. Roar! The ancestral dragon roared and wanted to retreat, but he was held back by the non-human divine ancestor. The two of them fought intensely. In an instant, countless chains covered the entire sky and earth, shrouding the ancestral dragon within. The ancestral dragon let out a long roar, causing the void to collapse. He struggled with all his might, trying to break free, but this 10-directional seal formation was set up by the combined efforts of countless alien races. There were countless Great Emperor Realm and Heavenly Emperor Realm powerhouses. The power of the formation set up by so many experts was simply too shocking. Even the ancestral dragon couldn't break free. Mo-ku, do you think you can defeat me with this formation? The ancestral dragon roared. Mo-ku was the name of the alien race's divine ancestor. I can't do anything to you. I'll trap you for an hour. After an hour, you won't be able to turn the tables. The non-human divine ancestor said coldly and then turned to the prison suppression field. Boom! The non-human divine ancestor didn't waste any time. He attacked immediately. A huge palm hit the prison suppression world. At the same time, destructive light shot out from between his eyebrows and turned into 9 combat swords, slashing at the prison suppression world. Boom! 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 The light shield of the prison suppression field started to shake again. The non-human divine ancestor continued to attack. The light shield of the prison guarding steel rippled, and the entire prison guarding world was shaking even more violently than before. It was obvious that the non-human divine ancestor hadn't used his full power earlier, as if he had known that the ancestral dragon would come. Now that the ancestral dragon was trapped by the 10-directional seal formation, the non-human divine ancestor was going all out. The earth of the prison suppression field was shaking violently. Mountains collapsed, rivers stopped flowing, and the ground collapsed. It was like the end of the world. What do we do? If this continues, we won't be able to stop them sooner or later. Senior Ancestor Dragon is trapped. He will need an hour to get out. According to the current situation, the prison suppressing formation can't last an hour. Some of the great beings from the prison suppression field were pale and anxious. When the ancestral dragon had appeared, they had thought that they were saved. However, the non-human divine ancestor had anticipated this and had set up a formation to stop the ancestral dragon. As long as the formation was broken, they would all die. What do we do? Everyone was extremely anxious. Many people's gazes were on Lu Ming. Lu Ming was the only one who could turn the tide. If the fragments of the prison guarding steel in his body, the soul of the prison guarding steel, and the sub-steels are combined, the power of the prison guarding formation will definitely increase greatly. But what about Saint Ancestor Bloodheart? If I kill him before the Sacred Ancestor Bloodheart devours him, will the Sacred Ancestor Bloodheart die as well? Someone muttered and looked at Lu Ming with ill intentions. What did you say? Are you looking to die? Shut up. Wu Tai shouted coldly. In a flash, he appeared in front of Lu Ming. His eyes glowed coldly as he glared at the people who had spoken. Qin Gang's figure also moved and appeared beside Lu Ming. If anyone dared to have any ideas about Lu Ming, he would attack violently. It was not just the two of them. The people who had been rescued by Lu Ming from the eternal cage were all standing beside him, exuding a cold aura. Their attitude had explained everything. The faces of those who had spoken earlier paled. All of you, shut up. Lu Ming is the savior of our prison suppression field. Do you understand? Elder Lu shouted coldly and then showed an apologetic expression to Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled slightly. He was not angry. It was normal for some people to have such thoughts at such a critical moment. If sacrificing Lu Ming alone could save everyone, many people would have the same thought. Heaven and earth were shaking more and more violently, and the attacks of the non-human divine ancestor were getting more and more violent. He became 1,000,000 miles tall, like a giant standing between the sky and the earth. He was like a supreme god, bombarding the prison suppression field as if he was going to destroy the world. A few minutes later. Boom! Boom! The prison suppression field was shaking. The light shield formed by the prison suppression formation was changing. It would collapse at any time. It had only been a few minutes. It was impossible to hold them off for an hour. Gotcha! Suddenly, a voice rang out, making everyone's hearts beat wildly. Because a crack had appeared on the prison suppression formation. Everyone, attack together. Set up a formation and block it together. Elder Lu roared and charged forward. Attack. I swear to fight to the death. Fight. In the prison suppression field, countless people were shouting. They rushed forward like a swarm of locusts and started to set up a formation in a huge open space. There were countless overlords from the prison suppression field, from the peak invincible overlords to the Void Emperor. The number was shocking. So many people had set up a large formation. Their auras blended together and they attacked together. Boom! They struck out at the same time, and a huge stone tablet was formed. It flew through the light shield and hit the non-human saint ancestor. A group of ants, overestimating their own abilities. The non-human divine ancestor's cold voice rang out as he struck out with his palm, striking the giant stone tablet. Chapter 2441 Resisting a third bloodline. The non-human divine ancestor hit the stone tablet with his palm. The stone tablet created by all the great beings from the prison suppression field shook and then exploded. Pfft. Some of the weaker ones from the prison suppression field, such as those at the empty Emperor realm, were shaking violently and spat out blood. Continue. Elder Lu and the other elders shouted and attacked again. Endless light flickered. They condensed another huge stone tablet and flew out. If they attacked from the inside, the light barrier of the prison suppression formation would not be able to stop them. A group of ants, looking for death. The non-human divine ancestor roared. A beam of destructive light shot out from between his brows and hit the huge stone tablet. The stone tablet exploded instantly. This time, many of the human cultivators at the Void Emperor realm from the prison suppression field were sent flying as if they had been hit by a mountain. They spat out blood and were severely injured. They could no longer fight. Even some of the true Emperor realm experts started to bleed from the corners of their mouths. I'll go with you. Qing Tsang rushed out and gathered in the formation. He turned into a huge 9-headed golden lion and cooperated with the attack of the formation. Buzz! Buzz! Then, Mrs. Wu and the others also rushed out and joined the formation. Kill! Countless experts shouted and blasted out another stone tablet. Boom! Boom! The great beings of the prison suppression field set up a formation to resist the non-human divine ancestor. They exchanged more than a dozen moves. However, the people from the prison suppression field were completely at a disadvantage. The reason why the great beings of the non-human race could stop the ancestral dragon was that they had been inscribing the formation a few months in advance. The formation was extremely complete. Also, they had more great beings than the prison suppression field. They had the formation disc given by the saint ancestor of the non-human race, which was why they could stop the ancestral dragon. The people from the prison guard world had set up the formation in a hurry, and they had fewer masters than the alien race, so they couldn't fight the alien race's divine ancestor. Bang! Bang! One by one, the masters of the prison suppression field were sent flying away. They fell to the ground and spat out blood. They lost the ability to fight. In the end, even the great emperors and the heavenly emperor were shaking and their faces were pale. Some of the most powerful people, such as Qing Tsang and Elder Lu, were the core of the array, so they suffered a lot more from the backlash. Their bodies trembled slightly, and blood flowed from the corners of their mouths. Block kit. The old bodies of Lu Chonglai and the others trembled, but their wills were firm and they wouldn't retreat. We can only do that. Behind him, Lu Ming clenched his fists tightly and sighed. At this point, there was no other way. There was only one way, and that was to merge the prison-suppressing steels together. The combination of the prison-suppressing steel and the prison-suppressing formation had greatly increased its power, which was why it could block the attack of the non-human divine ancestor. As for Sacred Ancestor Bloodheart, he could only take things one step at a time. If it did not work, Lu Ming would not let himself be devoured by the sacred ancestor Bloodheart. Prison suppressing steel, out! Lu Ming shouted in a low voice. His body glowed and the prison suppressing steel appeared. Buzz! As soon as the prison suppressing steel appeared, it started to shake violently. It expanded rapidly and emitted an infinite light. Buzz! Buzz! Whoosh! In the prison suppression field, the broken piece and the 8 substeels were shaking violently. They seemed to be very excited. This is bad. Lu Ming, don't be rash. Qin Tsang roared. Think thrice. Wu Tai and the others also shouted. If Saint Ancestor Bloodheart was reborn, the consequences would be even more serious. However, Lu Ming's eyes were firm and he was unmoved. Go, go! Lu Ming shouted. He waved his hand and the prison-suppressing steel flew to the depths of the prison-suppressing field as fast as lightning. Then, Lu Ming completely cut off the connection with the prison-guarding steel. The prison-guarding steel moved even faster and stepped into the void. In an instant, it came to the depths of the prison-guarding world, where the fragment was. When the two approached each other, the fragment of the prison-suppressing field flew directly from the mountain peak toward Lu Ming's prison-suppressing steel. Buzz! The two collided and then fused together. All the fragments of the prison-guarding steel had merged together to form a complete prison-guarding steel with the soul of the main steel. At this moment, the prison-suppressing steel became bigger again. It was as tall as the sky, and it gave off a shocking wave. The other 8 sub-steels also started to shake crazily. They shone brightly and all the light gathered together to form the prison-suppressing formation. In an instant, the power of the prison suppression formation increased dramatically, and the cracks that had appeared before disappeared. Boom! The non-human divine ancestor's attack landed on the prison-suppressing formation, but the formation only produced a ripple that was far weaker than before. Even a non-human divine ancestor at his peak would have needed a long time to break through the complete prison-suppressing formation. It would probably take even longer to break it open now. By then, the ancestral dragon would have escaped. However, the non-human divine ancestor stopped and laughed, "Ha ha ha, you're so stupid. Without the suppression of the prison-suppressing steel, let's see how you can resist the devouring of the killing heart." At this moment, Lu Ming's body had indeed undergone a tremendous change. As soon as the prison-suppressing steel left, the third bloodline immediately turned the world upside down. Boom! 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 The sound of endless waves crashing could be heard. The third bloodline seemed to have turned into a sea of blood. The sea of blood churned and endless energy swept toward Lu Ming. Kill, kill, kill. A loud roar filled with boundless killing intent charged at Lu Ming's sea of consciousness. It wanted to devour Lu Ming's consciousness and completely occupy him. In an instant, Lu Ming's eyes and hair turned blood red. Even his body was growing bone spikes, making him look extremely ferocious. Ha ha ha. Outside, the non-human divine ancestor laughed. Lu Ming, hold on. Qin Tsang activated Lion Roar and roared to help Lu Ming suppress the killing intent, making Lu Ming a little more awake. However, without the suppression of the prison-guarding steel, the power of the third bloodline was too strong, and the killing intent was so strong that it was shocking. In an instant, Lu Ming's consciousness was almost devoured. Lu Ming finally realized how lucky he was in the past. It was all because of the suppression of the prison-suppressing steel that he was not devoured by the third bloodline. Only when he took the initiative to borrow the power of the third bloodline would the third bloodline have an opportunity to take advantage of him. Otherwise, he would have been devoured by the third bloodline. That was why Lu Ming could not unleash much of the prison-suppressing steel's power even though it was a high-level bloodline. It was mainly because the prison-suppressing steel's bloodline was focused on suppressing the third bloodline. Devour, rebirth, kill. The sea of blood churned and formed a huge face. It kept changing, shocking Lu Ming's consciousness. My lord! Lu Ming suddenly let out a long roar and began to operate the path of domination. His body suddenly emitted a dazzling purple-gold radiance. In an instant, the power of the third bloodline was pushed away a little. Lu Ming's consciousness also became clearer. It's useful. Lu Ming was overjoyed. The power of the path of domination was useful, and it could block the corrosion of the third bloodline. Chapter 2442 Success. Lu Ming immediately sat down cross-legged and focused on circulating the path of domination. Purple gold light emanated from his body and enveloped him. For a moment, the purple gold and blood-red glows on his body churned non-stop. Ruler, ruler of heaven and earth, ruler of everything. Whatever power you have, get lost. Lu Ming roared in his heart. The power of the path of domination protected his soul in the middle, making it invulnerable to all attacks. Boom! 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 After being blocked, the third bloodline seemed to be enraged. The blood waves surged into the sky and were abnormally violent. They wanted to drown Lu Ming completely and kept attacking him. Not good. The world energy is rapidly being consumed. Lu Ming's expression changed. He controlled the way of domination to resist the corrosion of the third bloodline. His world energy was being consumed very quickly. If this went on, he would not be able to resist for long. Hold on, the Tao of a sovereign can dominate the world. If the entire world can be dominated, then naturally, the energy of the world can be dominated as well. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He then emptied his mind. At this moment, he seemed to have become one with the entire world. He seemed to have become the master of the world. Hoo. With a single thought, the boundless energy between heaven and earth was dominated and controlled by Lu Ming to help him resist the corrosion of the third bloodline. Instantly, the consumption of his world power greatly slowed. It's useful. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The sovereign Tao was truly amazing. He had a feeling that he had only just comprehended it and was still lacking in maturity. If he continued to grow and his cultivation continued to rise, his sovereign Tao would only become stronger. At that time, he might really be able to dominate the entire world. By borrowing the power of the entire world, how terrifying would that power be? For example, if you controlled the power of the entire heaven realm to attack the enemy, what kind of power would it reach? It was hard to imagine. Lu Ming had completely blocked the third bloodline's corrosion with his dominator's Tao. No matter how crazy the third bloodline was, it was useless. This power. How was that possible? How was that possible? How can anyone in this world control this kind of power? Outside the prison realm, the non-human divine ancestor's eyes widened and he yelled in disbelief. He recognizes my power. Lu Ming's heart stirred. As far as he knew, there should have been no one in history who could control this kind of power, right? What did the non-human divine ancestor mean? This power. Good. At this moment, the ancestral dragon laughed heartily. However, unlike the non-human divine ancestor, he laughed in a carefree manner. I blocked it. Qing Tsang, Wu Tai, Lu Chonglai, and the others were also ecstatic. If Lu Ming could block the corrosion of the sacred ancestor blood heart, then everything would turn around. Damn it, I'm going to destroy all of you. The non-human divine ancestor roared as a terrifying aura emanated from his body. A huge battle axe appeared in his hand, and he swung it at the prison suppressing formation. Boom! The prison suppression formation trembled and sent out ripples, but in the end, it was able to block the attack. It was much better than before. Break! The non-human divine ancestor unleashed a frenzied barrage of attacks, destroying everything in its path. However, even though the prison suppressing formation was shaking, it was still holding on. It didn't seem like the non-human divine ancestor would be able to break through it for a few hours. Lu Ming, hang in there. He'll be able to break the seal in half an hour at most. The ancestral dragon's voice rang out. His huge body was wrapped in giant chains. He struggled madly, causing many of the alien races to turn pale. Senior, don't worry. Half an hour is no problem. Lu Ming's voice was heard. Good. Roar. The ancestral dragon roared and exploded with boundless dragon might. The non-human divine ancestor also roared and attacked the prison-suppressing formation. Both sides were fighting for time. Whoever had the advantage would win. If the divine ancestor broke through the prison-suppressing formation first, everyone would die. All their efforts would be in vain. Or, if Lu Ming could not resist it and was devoured by the blood-heart saint ancestor, they would be finished. The other possibility was that the ancestral dragon would break through the 10-sided seal formation first. Then, he would be able to enter the prison-suppressing formation and completely destroy Sacred Ancestor Bloodheart. Although the Sacred Ancestor Bloodheart was also a supreme expert, an existence on the same level as the ancestral dragon, he was only a wisp of bloodline left. He couldn't be the ancestral dragon's opponent at all. He would definitely be obliterated. Therefore, whoever took the initiative would be able to change the battle situation. Of course, the non-human divine ancestor could also change his way of attacking the ancestral dragon. However, the ancestral dragon was only stopped by the formation and didn't lose his fighting power. The non-human divine ancestor couldn't do anything to the ancestral dragon even if he attacked. Perhaps the power of their battle would cause the 10-directional seal formation to collapse even faster. The non-human divine ancestor had thought that everything was under his control. However, he had never expected that Lu Ming would be able to resist the corrosion of the Bloodheart divine ancestor. Now, everything was no longer within his control. Time passed by minute by minute. Everyone was waiting for the results. The people from the prison suppression field were very worried that Lu Ming would not be able to withstand it. In the blink of an eye, half an hour had passed. Roar! The dragon's roar shook the sky and shook the earth. Countless non-human overlords trembled and spat out mouthfuls of blood. Bang! 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 The chains formed by runes on the ancestral dragon's body kept exploding, turning into energy and dissipating. In a few breaths, all the runes exploded. Even the kings of the 10 royal families trembled and retreated while spitting blood. The ancestral dragon had escaped. Damn it! The non-human divine ancestor roared and stopped attacking the prison-suppressing formation. He turned around and attacked the ancestral dragon. However, the ancestral dragon didn't want to fight him head-on. His body shrunk rapidly and became more than 10 meters long. He rushed towards the prison-suppressing formation like a flash of lightning. As long as the ancestral dragon could break into the prison suppression formation and obliterate Sacred Ancestor bloodline, they would have won. Don't even think about it. The non-human divine ancestor knew the ancestral dragon's plan. He shrunk his body and tried to stop the ancestral dragon. However, the two of them were equally strong. The ancestral dragon didn't want to fight and was determined to charge at the prison-suppressing formation. The non-human divine ancestor couldn't stop him. Killing heart, retreat. The non-human divine ancestor roared. Even if he tried his best, he wouldn't be able to stop the ancestral dragon for long. Boom! 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 The sea of blood surrounding Lu Ming trembled wildly, as if it was extremely unwilling. In the end, all the sea of blood and blood chi shrank into a drop of blood, turned into a blood-red lightning, and flew out of the prison suppression formation. Lu Ming's connection with the third bloodline was completely cut off. Whoosh! The drop of blood formed by Sacred Ancestor Bloodheart's bloodline was extremely fast. In a flash, it rushed out of the prison suppressing formation. Buzz! Buzz! The ancestral dragon and the non-human divine ancestor pounced toward the drop of blood at an incredible speed. However, the murderous heart divine ancestor had intentionally avoided the ancestral dragon and flew toward the non-human divine ancestor, so the non-human divine ancestor was faster. He grabbed the murderous heart bloodline and swung his battle axe at the ancestral dragon. The two of them exchanged a blow and retreated. Chapter 2443 Returning to the Heavenly Realm, What a Pity. The ancestral dragon sighed. The bloodline of the sacred ancestor Bloodheart would be a great threat in the future if it fell into the hands of the non-human sacred ancestor. However, it had already fallen into the hands of the non-human divine ancestor, so it was impossible to completely obliterate the divine ancestor Bloodheart. In a flash, the ancestral dragon entered the prison-suppressing formation. "I'll let you off today. It won't take long for the prison suppression field and the heaven realm to be destroyed. I'll definitely succeed in opening the sky. All of you stubborn people will die." The non-human divine ancestor's cold voice rang out as he ordered the non-human race to retreat. Buzz! 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 Countless alien races rose into the air and disappeared without a trace. The non-human race's divine ancestor cast a cold glance at Lu Ming, then took a step forward and disappeared. The great battle ended just like that. "Thank you for saving me, Senior Ancestral Dragon." Junior pays his respects to Senior. Qing Tsang, Elder Lu, and the others flew over and saluted the ancestral dragon. It was said that the ancestral dragon was the ancestor of all the true dragons in the world. His seniority was too high, and he had lived for countless years. No one knew how the ancestral dragon appeared or how long he had lived. Rise! Zhu Long transformed into a human form. He was a burly old man. He waved his hand casually and appeared in front of Lu Ming. He sized Lu Ming up carefully. At this moment, Lu Ming was trying his best to recover. Just now, he had used up too much energy to resist the third bloodline. His world energy was about to be exhausted. In the end, he managed to withstand it. The energy from the outside world continued to pour into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's world energy was recovering rapidly. A moment later, Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief and closed the door. The third bloodline has finally left. Lu Ming was extremely relaxed. The third bloodline was a time bomb that constantly threatened Lu Ming's safety. Although it could be of help to Lu Ming sometimes, he would rather not have it. Now that the third bloodline, the bloodline of the sacred ancestor bloodline, had left, Lu Ming felt relaxed as if a huge stone that had been weighing on his heart for many years had been lifted. Lu Ming saw the ancestor dragon the moment he opened his eyes. Although the ancestral dragon had transformed into a human, his aura remained the same. Lu Ming quickly stood up and cupped his fists in greeting. Junior Lu Ming greets Senior Ancestral Dragon. No need to be so polite. Zhu Long laughed heartily. He was all smiles when he looked at Lu Ming. I didn't expect this. I really didn't expect that there would be someone in this world who could control this kind of power. The power of a ruler. Zhu Long sighed. All. Lu Ming was stunned. When the ancestral dragon mentioned the power of a master, he was obviously referring to the power that Lu Ming controlled. However, the name of this power was casually given by Lu Ming. Could it be that he had chosen the right name? Senior, you know about this power? Lu Ming asked curiously. I do know, but this kind of power is too little. Even if it's there. I'm not too sure about the specifics. Zhu Long said. He then looked at Lu Ming. You have to cultivate well. If you keep going, you might be able to break through the limit and step into the supreme realm. Yes. Lu Ming nodded. Then, Zhu Long looked at Elder Lu and the others from the prison suppression field and said, It's not a good idea for you to stay in the evil god realm for a long time. Instead, It will give the alien tribes an opportunity to attack you one by one. Why don't you come with me to the Heaven Realm? Only when we join forces will we have the power to fight against the alien tribes. Senior, we also want to go to the Heaven Realm, but there are too many people in the prison suppression field. We can't take them there. That's right. Although a peak Heavenly Emperor doesn't need a space passage and can directly tear space, cross the long void, and enter other worlds, he can only move alone and can't bring anyone with him. Even if there's an Eden treasure, it will be ground to pieces when crossing the long void. The elders from the prison suppression field all spoke. They were naturally willing to go to the Heaven Realm and join forces with the experts of the Heaven Realm. However, even if a peak Heavenly Emperor could directly step into the endless void and enter another realm, he could not bring anyone with him. Even the lower-grade monarch weapons could not be brought along as they would be torn apart by the void storm during the long journey in the void. As such, even if one were to use an Eden treasure to store a person, it would be useless. Similarly, it would be useless to cultivate a small world. It turns out that a peak Heavenly Emperor can directly cross the long void and enter another realm from one realm. Lu Ming's heart stirred. He thought of the time when he was captured by Mo Luojia. At that time, Mo Luojia had passed through the void and captured him. Mo Luojia was a peak Heavenly Emperor. I understand. It didn't work in the past, but that doesn't mean it won't work now. Zhu Long smiled and explained, now, the 9 prison guarding steels are gathered. As long as we control them, we can form a prison guarding space. It can hold an endless number of people. With the level of the prison guarding steel, we can stop them even if they cross the long void. Really, that's great. Ha ha ha. The people from the prison suppression field were all overjoyed. I used to be an old friend of the prison guarding steel, and I know some ways to control it. Let's do it now. Zulong said. Then, the ancestral dragon exuded a powerful aura and his hands quickly formed a seal. Buzz. The 9 prison guarding steels of the prison guarding world started to shake and then slowly floated in the air. The 9 prison guarding steels resonated with each other and created a space. The prison suppression space had the same meaning as a grotto heaven treasure. In, go. Zhu Long shouted and a strong force was generated. All the people in the prison suppression field flew into the prison suppression space. In the end, Lu Ming, Qing Sang, Elder Lu, and the rest also entered the prison suppression space. The prison suppression space was also a world of its own. It was vast and had endless mountains. We didn't notice it before. Elder Lu and the others were overjoyed. They began to arrange for the endless population of the prison suppression field to live here. The ancestral dragon put away the 9 prison guarding steels and stepped out. The space cracked and he went through the void toward the Heaven Realm. After an unknown amount of time, the ancestral dragon's figure appeared in the prison suppression space. We've already reached the Heaven Realm. Zhu Long smiled. So fast. Everyone was overjoyed, but at the same time, they were shocked. The strength of the ancestral dragon was truly unfathomable. He had returned to the Heaven Realm from the evil god realm so quickly. Come with me. Zhu Long waved his hand, and Lu Ming, Qing Sang, Lu Changlai, and the others disappeared. The next moment, they appeared in the sky. Standing high in the sky and looking down, they found that there was a huge mountain under their feet. There were many buildings built on the mountain. Around the mountain, there were huge cities. So many experts. Lu Ming was shocked to discover that this huge mountain was emitting a terrifying aura. Some of them were at the Heavenly Emperor realm, while others were at the Great Emperor realm. The number was astonishing. Although it wasn't as many as the Outlander Sacred Mountain, it wasn't much worse. Chapter 2444 Old friends meet again in the lair of Zulong. What is this place? Could this be the foundation of the Heaven Realm? Many thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. In the past, the number of masters he had met in Two World City or in Two World City could not be compared to the alien races. They were even far from being comparable to the prison guard field. Lu Ming had always been curious about how they could fight against the alien races with such power. Lu Ming also guessed that the Heaven Realm was hiding some power. Now that he had discovered it, it was very likely that this place was the hidden power of the Heaven Realm. This is where I live. It's an independent world. The outside world is called the Lair of Zulong. Zhu Long explained. Lair of Zulong. Lu Ming remembered this name. At this moment, a beam of light flew out from the mountain below. In a flash, it appeared in front of everyone. It was a middle-aged man with a burly figure. He wore a scale armor and looked majestic and handsome. 5 elements, long time no see. Qing Tsang laughed and came out to greet the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man was surprised to see Qing Tsang, but then he smiled and said, "So it's you, Lion. It's been so many years, I thought you were long dead." "You Qilin didn't die, so how could I die?" Qing Tsang deliberately pulled a long face. He was overjoyed to see someone he knew. 5 elements. Qilin, could it be the 5 elements Qilin, one of the top 10 battle beasts? Lu Ming's heart stirred. There was a 5 elements Qilin among the top 10 battle beasts, which was definitely powerful. Seeing how familiar Qing Tsang was with the other party, it was most likely the case. "Greetings, Senior." Wu Xing saluted the ancestral dragon. "Wu Xing, you've come at the right time. I've brought all the people from the prison suppression field. Go and arrange a place for them to live." Zhu Long waved his hand and 9 prison guarding steels flew towards Elder Lu. Elder Lu reached out and caught them. "All right, everyone, please follow me." Wu Xing waved his hand and flew off in a certain direction. Elder Lu and the others followed. Only Zhu Long, Lu Ming, Qing Tsang, and a few people from the Heaven Realm were left at the scene. "Senior, we will take our leave. Senior Ancestral Dragon, I'll also take my leave." The few of them bade farewell to the Ancestral Dragon. They were from the Heaven Realm and had been captured by the alien races for countless years. They missed their family and friends here, so they naturally wanted to meet them as soon as possible. There are teleportation gates in those cities. You can leave by taking the teleportation gates. Zulong said. Everyone bowed and said to Lu Ming, "Brother Lu Ming, you have our teleportation token with you. If you need anything, feel free to send us a message." "All right." Lu Ming nodded. Then, those people left one after another, leaving only Lu Ming and Qin Tsang. "Senior, I will also be taking my leave." Lu Ming also wanted to leave. Back then, when he was captured by the alien race, Dandan, Bubble, and his other family and friends must have been very worried. After all, it had been more than 100 years and he could not wait to return and meet them. 100 years was an extremely long time for him. An ordinary person would not have such a long lifespan in their entire lifetime. I wonder how his parents are. And how are the others? Lu Ming, don't be in such a hurry to go back. Stay here for a few months. I have something to tell you after a few months. Zulong said. A few months? That's good. Lu Ming nodded. More than 100 years had passed. He did not mind a few months. You can take a good look around the lair of Zulong during this time. Zulong said. Lu Ming, you can take a walk around here. I have to go. Qin Tsang said. He then bade farewell to Lu Ming and Zhu Long and left the place. Lu Ming and the ancestral dragon landed in front of a palace on the huge mountain below. The ancestral dragon gave Lu Ming a dragon-shaped token. With this token, Lu Ming could enter and exit anywhere in the lair of Zulong at will. After that, the ancestral dragon entered a hall, presumably to cultivate, while Lu Ming wandered around. This mountain was really huge. It stretched for millions of miles, and there were caves and palaces everywhere. Lu Ming walked around casually. He could sense powerful auras in front of many cave abodes and palaces. Many of them were emitting the aura of the Heavenly Emperor realm. The Heaven realm has been passed down from the Primordial Era, and the Ancient Era for countless years. The number of experts it has accumulated is also amazing. Lu Ming's heart stirred. With the help of the great beings from the prison suppression field, they would have the ability to fight against the alien races. Lu Ming was walking around when he suddenly heard a violent roar coming from the front. There were people fighting. Lu Ming was curious and strode forward. There was a huge palace in front of them. In front of the palace was a square, where two figures were fighting intensely. The sword chi surged. True Emperor Realm. From a distance, Lu Ming could sense that the two figures were at the True Emperor Realm. There were very few true emperors on this mountain. Lu Ming speculated that he should be the disciple of some powerful person. Lu Ming approached. When he saw the appearance of the two fighting figures, he could not help but be dumbfounded. The two of them were acquaintances. Moreover, they were two acquaintances who had not seen each other for a long time. Profound fragrance, profound peak. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. He did not expect to meet Xian Xiang and Xian Feng here. Back when Lu Ming was still cultivating in the eastern Xian region of the eastern wilderness, Xian Xiang and Xian Feng's family were exterminated by the Sky Corps sect. They were stranded on a small island in the Heaven realm because of the ancient barren city. On the small island, Lu Ming was surrounded and attacked by the evil god tribe. In the end, the Xian family's patriarch, Su Xing, killed all the evil god tribe members and brought Lu Ming, Xian Xiang, and Xian Feng back to the primordial realm. Later on, the patriarch of the Xian family left with Xian Xiang and Xian Feng. Lu Ming had not seen them since. Later on, Lu Ming had sent people to search for them in the Divine Wilderness continent and in the Yuan continent. However, there was no news of Xian Xiang and the rest. He had never thought that he would meet Xian Xiang and the others here. It seems that the ancestor of the Xian family is definitely a terrifying existence. Lu Ming pondered in his heart. With his current knowledge and experience, he could deduce many things. The patriarch of the Xian family was most likely seriously injured in the ancient war with the alien races and fell into the primordial realm with the ancient city of desolation. He was an extremely powerful existence. It could be seen from his first encounter with Dandan and his attitude towards her. At this moment, Xian Xiang and Xian Feng also felt that someone was approaching. They stopped and looked over. At the sight of Lu Ming, the two of them were stunned. Then, they widened their eyes and their mouths. They were dumbfounded. Lu Ming, the two of them were very surprised. They did not expect to meet Lu Ming here. Ha ha ha, Xian Xiang, Xian Feng, long time no see. How are you? Lu Ming had already reacted. He laughed and flew over. Brother Lu Ming, it's really you. Xian Xiang welcomed him with a face full of smiles. Naturally, it's me, the real deal. Lu Ming smiled. Chapter 24:45 The True Dragon's Provocation. It had been too long since they had met. It had been more than 100 years. Now that they met, it was as if they had endless topics to talk about. They chatted and laughed. Even Xian Feng, who had always been a man of few words, was smiling. Through the chat, Lu Ming learned about Xian Xiang and the rest's experiences over the years. Back then, after the patriarch of the Xian family, Xian Xiang, Xian Feng, and Lu Ming had parted ways, they had been traveling everywhere. They had gone to various places, broken through dangerous and forbidden places, and trained everywhere. After more than 10 years, the patriarch of the Xian family had brought them to the Heaven realm. The ancestor of the Xian family was an extremely powerful existence in the heaven realm in ancient times, so he naturally knew about the lair of Zulong. After coming to the heaven realm, the ancestor of the Xian family brought Xian Xiang and Xian Feng to the lair of Zulong and settled down there. The ancestor of the Xian family focused on cultivation and recovery, and he would find time to guide Xian Xiang and Xian Feng. He stayed there for more than 100 years. Although Xian Feng's talent wasn't particularly good, the cultivation environment was too good. The lair of Zulong was the dwelling place of the Zulong. The cultivation environment could be said to be the best in the heaven realm. Coupled with the guidance of the Xian family's ancestor and the accumulation of large amounts of resources, the two of them managed to reach the true emperor realm in over 100 years. Lu Ming also briefly shared his experience. Although it was only a simple explanation, the two of them were shocked. Lu Ming had nowhere to go in the lair of Zulong, so he settled down there. Occasionally, Xian Xiang and Xian Feng would spar with Lu Ming. Lu Ming only attacked casually, but the two of them were no match for him at all. They admired him even more. The two of them had the best cultivation environment and the guidance of an expert. However, Lu Ming had relied on himself to get to where he was today, step by step. His achievements were far above the two of them. Naturally, the two of them were impressed. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. One day, Lu Ming received a message from the ancestor dragon, asking him to wait at the place where the ancestor dragon was in seclusion. Lu Ming bade farewell to Xian Xiang and Xian Feng and walked towards the palace at the peak of the mountain. When Lu Ming arrived, he realized that there was no one there. He then waited there. Not long after, Lu Ming heard footsteps. He looked and saw a few people walking over. There were a total of 4 people, 2 old men, 1 middle-aged man, and 1 young man. Dragon Chi, they're all true dragons. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He could sense dragon chi from these 4 people. He had the bloodline of 9 dragons, and his spiritual body was the dragon god combat body. He was very sensitive to dragon chi and could easily sense it. "You're the brat." Seeing Lu Ming, the young man strode over with a hint of hostility in his eyes. Lu Ming was baffled. This was the first time he had met this young man and he had not offended him. He must be crazy to have ill intentions toward him the moment they met. Lu Ming frowned. However, this was the lair of Zulong and the other party was a true dragon. He was most likely related to the Zulong. Lu Ming could not be bothered to argue with him. The dragon essence pool only opens once every 10,000 years. This time, only I am qualified to enter the dragon essence pool. I really don't understand why the old ancestor let you enter the dragon essence pool. Did the old ancestor? The young man said indignantly. Ao Luan, mind your words. Before the young man could finish, an old man quickly interrupted him. The young man's name was Ao Luan. His expression changed slightly. He stopped and did not say anything, but his gaze became even colder. He stared at Lu Ming and said, "Kid, the dragon essence pool only opens once every 10,000 years. Only the most talented one can enter. I'm the most talented one in the dragon clan in 10,000 years. What right do you have to enter? Dragon essence pool." Lu Ming's heart stirred. Did the ancestral dragon ask him to wait for a few months just to let him enter the dragon essence pool? It was highly possible. Otherwise, this young man from the dragon clan wouldn't be so against him. Senior ancestral dragon naturally has his reasons for letting whoever enter. Lu Ming said. "You're saying that your talent is stronger than mine?" The young man said coldly, his eyes flashing with a cold light. Lu Ming smiled but did not answer. His meaning was self-evident. "Ha ha, good, very good. There's still someone who is so confident in front of me, Ao Luan. Then I'll test just what kind of ability you have. Now, I challenge you. Attack." Ao Luan laughed from anger, and a powerful aura spread out from his body. 6-star Great Emperor. This Aol-Wan's cultivation is truly shockingly high. Of course, Aol-Wan had been cultivating for a long time. Lu Ming speculated that he had been cultivating for at least a few thousand years. In reality, Aol-Wan had already been cultivating for over 5,000 years. It was extremely rare for someone to reach the 6-star Great Emperor realm in 5,000 years. Even on the Outlander race's longevity roll, he was at the top. He was definitely a rare genius. No wonder he was so confident. On the side, the two elders of the true dragon tribe and the middle-aged man looked on expressionlessly without any intention of stopping him. "You're not my match." Lu Ming shook his head slightly. With his current cultivation level, he really couldn't bring himself to be interested in a 6-star Great Emperor. He was speaking the truth, but Aol-Wan completely exploded. "You're boasting shamelessly. I'd like to see how much you're worth." Aol-Wan was furious. He took a step forward and rushed toward Lu Ming like lightning. He bent his claws and grabbed at Lu Ming. As the claw struck out, the void exploded. Its power was shocking. Immemorial demonic Tao. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Aol-Wan did not cultivate the system of laws. Instead, he cultivated the immemorial demonic Tao. Whoosh! Lu Ming's fingers were like a sword, stabbing out at the other party's claw. It was like a real peerless divine sword, fast as lightning and sharp. Bang! Lu Ming's finger and Aol-Wan's claw collided. With a violent boom, Aol-Wan's body trembled as if he had been electrocuted and he flew backward. An immemorial body cultivator. Aol-Wan's expression was somewhat gloomy. Lu Ming had only used his physical strength earlier. He thought that Lu Ming was a physical cultivator who cultivated his physical body. Roar! A dragon's roar shook the firmament. Aol-Wan transformed into a true dragon. His body wriggled, and his dragon claws stepped in the air as he pounced toward Lu Ming. The 5 dragon claws stomped down on Lu Ming one after another. The dragon claws were covered in a layer of terrifying demonic energy. After transforming into the body of a true dragon, Aol-Wan's battle prowess rose to its peak. Lu Ming's eyes turned slightly cold. He had already shown mercy, but the other party didn't know when to retreat, so don't blame him for being heavy-handed. Buzz! The muscles in Lu Ming's body trembled and he burst forward, swinging his fists continuously. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming's fist collided with Aol-Wan's dragon claws. With each collision, Aol-Wan's body trembled and he retreated. After more than 10 moves, Aol-Wan retreated more than 50 kilometers. He was completely crushed by Lu Ming. What a strong body! He's already reached the peak of Great Emperor realm. On the side, the middle-aged man muttered with a gloomy expression. Aol-Wan was one of his nephews. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly rose up and attacked. He grabbed one of Aol-Wan's dragon claws, swung it up, and smashed it down on the ground. Roar! Aol-Wan roared and struggled with all his might, but it was of no use. He was caught by Lu Ming and could not help himself. Chapter 2446 Displaying Strength, Stop. The middle-aged burly man beside him roared. He charged forward and clawed at Lu Ming. A terrifying force pressed toward Lu Ming. It was obvious that this person was a powerhouse of the Heavenly Emperor realm. Lu Ming's expression changed. He threw Aol-Wan away and retreated rapidly, avoiding the middle-aged man's attack. Sixth uncle, teach him a lesson. Teach him a lesson. Aol-Wan stabilized his body and roared. The middle-aged man looked at Lu Ming and said, "Little brother, you look so young, but your cultivation is so profound. I really admire you. I'm also very excited to see a prey. Little brother, why don't you accompany me for a few moves?" Hee hee. Lu Ming sneered. After hitting the young one, the old one would come out. He had only used his physical strength and showed that he was a peak emperor. On the other hand, the middle-aged man was a heavenly emperor. Although he was a one-star heavenly emperor, he was far above peak great emperors. Now that he asked Lu Ming to exchange a few moves with him, it was obvious that he was bullying him. However, it was just a one-star heavenly emperor. Why would Lu Ming be afraid? The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled into an inexplicable smile. He nodded and said, "Very well, since Senior has invited me, how could this junior dare to refuse?" "You agree?" The middle-aged man and the two old men were stunned. They initially thought that Lu Ming would not dare to accept the challenge and would back off in the face of difficulties, giving up on entering the Dragon Essence pool. They did not expect Lu Ming to actually agree. A cold glint flashed in the depths of the middle-aged man's eyes. He would take this opportunity to teach Lu Ming a lesson. Lu Ming was chosen by the ancestral dragon. Naturally, he did not dare to have the intention to kill Lu Ming. However, it was fine to teach him a lesson. "Huh, little brother, you're so heroic. Pay attention." The middle-aged man smiled and suddenly took a step forward. His body rushed towards Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. He then clawed at Lu Ming. He had used 80% of his power in this claw attack. It was almost certain that he could take down a peak emperor. Boom! Lu Ming also threw a punch at the middle-aged man. He actually dared to take it head-on. What a hothead! The middle-aged man said in disdain. A peak great emperor actually dared to fight a heavenly emperor head-on. If this wasn't stupidity, then what was? Bang! The two attacks collided. At this moment, Lu Ming's fist emitted a dazzling purple-gold radiance. The Tao of a ruler. The moment the two of them collided, Lu Ming burst out with the path of domination. The middle-aged man's expression changed instantly. His eyes popped out and he looked extremely shocked. At this moment, he sensed an incomparably terrifying power surging toward him. At this critical moment, he unleashed all his strength, but it was too late. With a violent boom, the middle-aged man's body was like a broken sack, flying out for thousands of miles before he could stabilize his body. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and one of his arms was bent beyond recognition. What? On the side, Ao Wan and the two old men were all stunned. One move. Lu Ming had only used one move to send the middle-aged man flying and spitting blood. The middle-aged man was a heavenly emperor. The few of them couldn't wrap their heads around it. Lu Ming was not surprised at all. When he used his ruler's power, it was enough to suppress or even kill a one-star celestial emperor. Just now, the middle-aged man had been careless and naturally was not Lu Ming's match. Roar! The middle-aged man bellowed and transformed into a true dragon. A vast dragon's might spread out and pounced at Lu Ming. He did not believe that he would not be able to take down Lu Ming even if he used all his strength. Lu Ming's cultivation base was clearly only at the Great Emperor realm. The huge dragon's body pounced on Lu Ming's head in an instant. "You're really looking for a beating," Lu Ming said coldly. His entire body was shrouded in purple gold light, like a god who ruled the world. Buzz! He turned into a purple gold light and charged at his opponent. At the same time, the purple gold light condensed into a long spear. This was a spear condensed from the Tao of domination. It was firm, immortal, and indestructible. Boom! Lu Ming pulled his gun. This spear not only contained the power of the way of domination, but also the power of the physical body. The middle-aged man bellowed. The dragon horns on his head glowed with a brilliant light. Two beams of divine light shot out and slashed at Lu Ming like heavenly blades. At the same time, he struck out with his dragon claws continuously, which converged into a golden dragon claw and clawed at Lu Ming. Several attacks were launched at the same time. The middle-aged man had used all his strength. However, when his attack collided with Lu Ming's long spear, his expression changed. His attacks continued to crumble while Lu Ming's long spear crushed his attacks as easily as breaking dry weeds and smashing rotten wood, lashing out at him. The middle-aged man's dragon body shrank rapidly as he retreated frantically. However, he could not avoid Lu Ming's attack and was struck by Lu Ming's long spear at the waist. The middle-aged man let out a blood-curdling screech as his body was sent flying tens of thousands of miles away. He crashed into a barren mountain, causing smoke and dust to fill the air. Hiss hiss hiss. Ao Wan and the two old men took in a cold breath. This time, the middle-aged man could be said to have used all his strength. However, he was still sent flying by Lu Ming's spear. He was completely crushed. Where did this young man come from? His strength was too shocking. They only reacted after a long time. It's just sparring, you're too heavy-handed. One of the old men said coldly. He didn't die. Lu Ming pursed his lips and did not take it to heart. You, the old man's face was gloomy. All right, I'm done. At this moment, a voice rang out. It was the ancestral dragon's voice. It came from the palace. Then, a figure appeared in the sky. This figure wasn't a real entity, but a projection of the ancestral dragon. We pay our respects to the ancestor. Ao Wan and the two old men's expressions changed. They stood up and saluted. Lu Ming is someone I have my eyes on. Do you have any objections to my decision? The ancestral dragon glanced at Ao Wan and the two old men. Their expressions changed drastically, and they hurriedly lowered their heads. I don't dare, I don't dare. Are you doubting my judgment of people? Zhu Long said. No, Patriarch, absolutely not. Patriarch's eyes are like torches. The two old men quickly said. Ao Wan also didn't dare to make a sound. If Lu Ming was really a good-for-nothing, he would fight for the dragon essence pool no matter what. However, the strength that Lu Ming had just displayed was too shocking. Needless to say, Lu Ming had killed a celestial arch in seconds. It was too terrifying. Let me tell you. Lu Ming has been cultivating for less than 200 years. Zhu Long said. What? What? Less than 200 years. This time, Ao Wan and the two old men were almost scared to death. They would never doubt that the ancestral dragon would lie to them. Heavens, he had cultivated for less than 200 years, and he was able to crush a heavenly emperor. What kind of monster was this? There was actually such a person in the world. No wonder the ancestral dragon had chosen Lu Ming to enter the dragon essence pool. Ao Wan was submissive now and did not dare to make a single sound. Compared to Lu Ming, he was simply trash. Chapter 2447 Heavenly Emperor's Corporeal Body. Lu Ming. Lu Ming. Could he be the Lu Ming who has been known as the Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm's #1 prodigy of the younger generation for more than 100 years? The one who has become an emperor with many laws. One of the old men muttered. Suddenly, his expression changed as if he had thought of something. Not bad. Zhu Long nodded. It's him. It's actually him. Ao Wan and the two old men were extremely shocked. If you don't have any objections, you may leave. Zhu Long waved his hand. Yes. The two old men and Ao Wan bowed and saluted. Then, they retreated and flew tens of thousands of miles away. They helped the middle-aged man up and left quickly. Lu Ming, come with me. Zhu Long smiled, then turned around and flew to the right. Lu Ming touched his nose and smiled bitterly. He reckoned that the ancestral dragon had long known about the situation, but he deliberately did not show himself so that Lu Ming would take action and reveal his strength, lest Ao Wan and the others were dissatisfied. They followed the ancestral dragon and came to a valley. There was a light screen at the entrance of the valley. It was obvious that there was a formation sealing the place. The ancestral dragon waved his hand and the formation opened. Lu Ming walked in. There was a vortex in the valley. Lu Ming, go in. Behind the vortex is the dragon marrow pool. It contains the essence of the dragon marrow that is naturally born in the world. It only opens once every 10,000 years. If you absorb the essence of the dragon marrow, it will be enough to improve your body and reach the heavenly emperor realm. Zulong said. It can help my body break through to the heavenly emperor realm. Lu Ming was shocked. This was incredible. He was now at the late stage of the 5th level of the 7 gods mysterious technique. If he wanted to cultivate to the 6th level, he would need to use top-notch treasures and slowly cultivate on his own. Even if Lu Ming was extremely talented, it would be difficult for him to break through without thousands of years of cultivation. Now, he could make a breakthrough with the help of the Dragon Essence Pool. It was evident that the value of the Dragon Essence Pool was high. It was no wonder that Aol1 wanted to find trouble with Lu Ming. Many thanks, Senior. Lu Ming saluted the ancestral dragon solemnly. You don't have to thank me. The situation is urgent now. Saint Ancestor Bloodheart is not dead. Although only a wisp of his bloodline is left, Mok will definitely find a way to help him recover. Also, that place is about to open. You are the only variable now. You must improve your strength as soon as possible. Zulong said, his eyes filled with worry. That place is about to open. The only variable. Lu Ming was puzzled. What was the meaning of this? Also, what was the sky opening that the divine ancestor of the outsiders had mentioned? Lu Ming realized that as his cultivation level increased, he knew more and more. However, there were also more and more things that he did not know. There seemed to be many secrets in this world that he did not understand. However, the ancestral dragon didn't want to say more. You may enter. Yes. Lu Ming nodded and stepped forward, entering the vortex. The next moment, Lu Ming appeared in a wonderful place. It was an underground cave that was very wide. The moment Lu Ming entered, he heard the sound of a dragon's roar. Lu Ming sized up the underground cave and discovered an extremely wonderful scene. The walls of this cave were covered with dragon-shaped marks, which didn't look like they were carved by humans. They looked more like natural and vivid marks. In addition, there were some spiritual herbs and saint herbs growing around the cave. They were all in the shape of dragons, like small real dragons, crawling all over the place. In the middle of the cave, there was a small pool with golden liquid inside. The dragon roars were coming from the pool. Lu Ming took a look and discovered that there were 9 golden true dragons swimming in the pool. No, that was not a real dragon, but a condensed form of energy. The essence that it emitted was extremely dense. Amazing, it's really amazing. The Dragon Essence Pool was formed naturally by heaven and earth. Nature is really amazing. Lu Ming sighed. Then, he took off his clothes and entered the Dragon Essence Pool. He sat cross-legged, and the water in the pool just happened to be above his head. As soon as Lu Ming entered the Dragon Essence Pool, the water transformed into tiny true dragons that wriggled into his body. Immediately, Lu Ming began to use the 7 divine mysterious technique to absorb the energy in the Dragon Essence Pool and temper his body. The energy in the Dragon Essence Pool was absorbed by Lu Ming and seeped into every part of his body. In every cell, Lu Ming's physical body was improving rapidly. It was at least a few hundred times faster than his usual cultivation speed. Lu Ming cultivated with all his heart, forgetting everything in time. He cast everything aside and cultivated with all his heart. Time flew by. Days passed and months passed. The water level of the Dragon Essence Pool was also dropping slowly. In the blink of an eye, 3 years had passed. Roar. Suddenly, a dragon's roar came from Lu Ming's body. Then, the sound of his bones vibrating could be heard. The vibration sound grew stronger and the aura on Lu Ming's body grew stronger. Boom! In the end, it formed a huge explosion. A terrifying aura filled the cave. Heavenly Emperor, this was the pressure of a Heavenly Emperor. Lu Ming had finally broken through to the 6th level of the 7 Gods' mysterious technique. Lu Ming's physical strength had completely reached the Heavenly Emperor realm. Now, Lu Ming could suppress an ordinary 1-star Heavenly Emperor with his physical strength alone. In addition to the power of the Way of Domination, Lu Ming's strength had increased by another level. Lu Ming continued cultivating for 2 months to consolidate his cultivation before ending it. Whew! Lu Ming heaved a long sigh. His lungs moved and a dragon's roar came from his throat. The dragon and I are really fated. Lu Ming smiled and got up to feel the situation in his body. His entire body was filled with destructive power, and his blood qi was as turbulent as a great river. Heavenly Emperor Realm. After cultivating for more than 100 years, Lu Ming had finally broken through to the Heavenly Emperor Realm. However, he was the first to do so in the path of physical cultivation. I don't know how much time has passed. Lu Ming muttered and left the place. When he walked out of the vortex, there was a flash in the sky. The projection of the ancestral dragon appeared. It seems like I've broken through. Zhu Long smiled. Many thanks, Senior. Senior, how long have I been cultivating? Lu Ming cupped his fists and asked. 3 years. Zulong said. It's been 3 years. Lu Ming muttered. Do you really want to leave? Go. If there's anything, it'll come to you. Zulong said. Yes. Lu Ming nodded. He was indeed eager to return home. He wanted to go back and see how the situation was. Lu Ming left the place with the ancestral dragon. He went to Xian Feng and Xian Xiang and bade them farewell. He went to an ancient city nearby and left the lair of Zulong by taking the teleportation formation. After leaving the lair of Zulong, Lu Ming appeared in the north of the Tai Ching heavenly region. He then took another teleportation array and headed to Two World City. Lu Ming returned to Two World City 2 days later. Chapter 2448 Attacking the Foreign Races Degree. The first tiling Lu Ming did when he returned to Two World City was to look for the Eternal Universe realm. Lu Ming. The Hangyu Heavenly Emperor was overjoyed to see Lu Ming. More than 100 years ago, when Lu Ming had been captured by the alien races, many people had thought that Lu Ming was in grave danger. He had never expected that Lu Ming would suddenly appear in Two World City after more than 100 years. Lu Ming, how did you come back? Heavenly Emperor Han Ye's voice was trembling with excitement. Lu Ming was very touched. He briefly recounted what had happened all these years. Saint Ancestor Bloodheart, Saint Ancestor of the non-human race, Ancestral Dragon. The Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor was extremely shocked, and he seemed to be digesting this information. In the Heaven Realm, there were many Heavenly Emperors who didn't know about the existence of the Ancestral Dragon. The Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor was one of them. Now that he knew so many secrets, he naturally needed to digest them. The Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor was shocked. He did not expect Lu Mmg to experience so much in the Evil God realm. Lu Ming, you've broken through to the Heavenly Emperor realm. The Heavenly Emperor's eyes widened as he sized Lu Ming up. He could sense that Lu Ming's blood and qi were surging in an astonishing manner. My physical body has made a breakthrough. I'm lucky to have the help of Senior Ancestral Dragon. Otherwise, I would need at least another 1,000 years. Lu Ming said. Good, good, good. The Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor said a few good words. Senior, what's the current situation? Lu Ming asked. 3 years ago, a large number of strong cultivators suddenly appeared in the Heaven Realm. They came to Two World City and another battlefield to participate in the battle. They claimed to be from the prison suppression field. It seems that they were from the prison suppression field that came with you from the evil god field. With the help of the musters from the prison realm, the combat power of the heaven realm has increased greatly. In the past few years, for some reason, the alien races have been hiding and not taking the initiative to fight. They have become defensive. All these years, we have been sending people out of the city entailing their way to the camp of the alien races on the other side of the battlefield. There is still an army attacking there. Heavenly Emperor Han Yu explained. The alien race has actually turned into a defense. Lu Ming was slightly stunned. Even with the help of the prison suppression field, the heaven realm's overall strength was still not as good as the alien races. The non-humankind wouldn't hide like turtles to defend. Could it be that the outsiders want to preserve their strength and launch a full-scale attack after Saint Ancestor Bloodheart recovers? Lu Ming's heart could not help but skip a beat. He thought of this possibility and his gaze turned solemn. This possibility was the highest. Lu Ming, some of your friends are also following the army to attack the alien race. They want to capture an important figure of the enemy and ask about you. Heavenly Emperor Han Yu said. My friend, Lu Ming's heart slapped a beat. It was very likely that it was Dandan, Bubbles and the rest. Senior, I'll go take a look. Lu Ming said. Yes, be careful. Follow me. Heavenly Emperor Han Yu said as he flew towards the city walls. That is. Lu Ming. Nest, who did I see? Lu Ming. Wasn't Lu Ming captured by the alien race? Why is he here? Could it be that everything is just a rumor? Along the way, those who saw Lu Ming were stunned and tongue-tied. More than 100 years ago, Lu Ming was captured by the alien race and it caused a great commotion in the Tai Ching heavenly region. Lu Ming's talent was too high and many people had high hopes for him. He did not expect that he would be captured by the alien race. It was a huge loss. Many people thought that Lu Ming had been captured by the alien race for more than 100 years and that he was most likely dead. They did not expect him to appear in Two World City. When they reached the city wall, the Han Yu Heavenly Emperor ordered BLS men to open the formation and Lu Ming flew out. After flying out of Two World City, Lu Ming exploded and flew towards the other side of the battlefield at an astonishing speed. The void exploded continuously. What a fast speed! Those who saw Lu Ming's speed were shocked. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming disappeared from everyone's sight. Given Lu Ming's current speed, he was too fast. Not long after, a military camp with no end in sight appeared in front of him. At this time, a great battle was going on. On the side of the heaven realm, they took the initiative to attack the camp of the non-humans, and the battle between the two sides was very fierce. At this time, a camp of the non-humans was attacked by a heavenly realm army. The commander of this heavenly realm army was none other than Dandan. Back then, Dandan's cultivation base had already reached the peak Great Emperor realm. After more than 100 years of cultivation, Dandan had also successfully broken through and reached the heavenly Emperor realm. Following behind Dandan were Bubbles, Phoenix Spirit, Long Chen, Ouyang Wushuang, and the others. After more than 100 years, everyone's cultivation had improved greatly. Most of them had entered the true Emperor realm. In addition, there were also some other experts from the heaven realm. Kill! Dandan roared and turned into a giant turtle, fighting a heavenly emperor of the foreign race. The battle between the two was extremely intense, but it was obvious that Dandan was stronger. The other party was not her match at all and was suppressed by Dandan. There's a prince of the alien race in this military camp. I must capture him and ask him about Lu Ming's whereabouts. I can even exchange him for Lu Ming. Dandan sent a message to everyone. Back then, when Lu Ming was captured, the other party had shouted that they could not harm Lu Ming's life. Therefore, they still had hope that he was not dead. Bubbles and the others launched a fierce attack. Bubbles' cultivation base had also reached the Great Emperor realm, and she had even reached the 3-star Great Emperor realm. Right now, Bubbles had mastered a great Tao, and her use of spacetime had reached a high degree of perfection. Her body flickered, and a large number of foreign beings were imprisoned. Some of the weaker ones were directly reversed in time, regressing to an even weaker stage and were easily killed. Even great emperors would find it difficult to survive as long as their cultivation bases were not too far above Bubbles. In the depths of the camp, a purple-haired alien was watching coldly. This person was an acquaintance of Lu Ming's, the prince of the alien race, Mo Tianluo. Lu Ming's friend. Let's see how you guys die. Mo Tianluo sneered and then sent a message to the Heavenly Emperor who was fighting with Dandan. The Heavenly Emperor suddenly exchanged a few blows with Dandan and retreated. Retreat. Protect the prince. The foreign celestial the Arch roared as he retreated. If you want to leave, then stay. Dandan gave chase, but the other party was also very fast. He retreated to Mo Tianluo's side and retreated with Mo Tianluo. Dandan and the others chased after them and killed a large number of alien races along the way. Stop. Suddenly, Dandan called for a stop. Why didn't you continue? Someone was puzzled. It's better to be careful. The other party seems to be deliberately luring us here. If there's a trap, we'll be in trouble. Let's retreat first. After all, Dandan had lived for a long time and was very meticulous. The others nodded. They didn't chase after him, but retreated. In front of him, Mo Tianluo also stopped, his eyes cold. You're not chasing. Quite meticulous, but did he think that this would work? Kill them all. Mo Tianluo roared. Buzz. Whoosh. Following Mo Tianluo's roar, the ground suddenly exploded, and many figures flew out. They were all from the foreign races. 2 of them had shockingly strong auras and were actually powerhouses of the Heavenly Emperor realm. The alien race had indeed set up an ambush here. Chapter 2449 It was Lu Ming, let's go. Dandan's expression changed and she roared. Everyone flew backward at high speed. You want to leave? Don't even think about it. None of you can leave today. Mo Tianluo's expression was extremely ferocious. When he found out that these people were Lu Ming's friends, he had already planned to kill all of them in one fell swoop. In the evil god world, Lu Ming had caused him to lose face. He hated Lu Ming to the core. Chase after them and kill them. Kill them all. Leave no one alive. Mo Tianluo roared. Kill. The foreign kinds chased after Dandan and the others at an amazing speed, especially the 3 Heavenly Emperor powerhouses, who were quickly closing the distance between them and Dandan. Although Dandan was at the Heavenly Emperor stage, the others were not at the Heavenly Emperor stage. Naturally, their speed could not be compared to the foreign Heavenly Emperor. Spacetime, turning back into her true form, Peo's body enlarged, emitting layers of strange light that enveloped everyone, causing their speed to increase explosively. At the same time, Dandan appeared behind the army and waved her hands. Countless runes filled the air and entered the space. Huge turtle shells appeared in the air and blocked in front of the alien race. Break. The 3 foreign celestial emperors caught up first and unleashed terrifying attacks. Although Dandan was strong, her cultivation base was still at the 1-star Heavenly Emperor realm. On the other hand, there were 3 of them, and one of them had reached the 2-star Heavenly Emperor realm. Those who could cultivate to the Heavenly Emperor realm were all peerless geniuses. It was extremely difficult for them to fight above their level. With Dandan's talent, she could only suppress opponents of the same level at most. It was still impossible for her to fight above her level. He was fighting 1 against 3, so naturally, he was no match for them. The turtle shell he had condensed was constantly shattered. Dandan retreated as she fought, continuously forming her turtle shell to buy time for Bubble and the others. Everyone streaked across the sky like streaks of light. Soon, they had flown tens of thousands of miles away. They came to another military camp, where the Heavenly Realm army was also attacking the alien races. Bubbles and the others were overjoyed. "Everyone, quickly come and help!" Ouyang Wushuang roared. There were also Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouses in this Heaven Realm army. When they saw this scene, they were about to come over and help. However, experts suddenly flew out of the camp one after another. "You want to save them? In your dreams. Hold them back." Those foreign powerhouses were desperately holding back the Heavenly Realm army. The two sides were locked in a fierce battle, and it was difficult for them to split up to help. Ha ha ha. Stop dreaming if you want others to save you. The strength of my evil god tribe is much stronger than yours. Do you understand? Well, be on the defensive for this period of time. Don't think that we're afraid of you. Mo Tianluo laughed. At this moment, the three foreign heavenly emperors had broken through Dandan's attacks and were approaching her. Don't think that I'm afraid of you. Kill. Dandan was furious. She opened her mouth and spat out a small pagoda. This small pagoda emitted a vast pressure. Heaven Dao soldiers. Back then on the Void God Island, Dandan had been given 4 Heaven Dao soldiers. However, with her current cultivation, she could only control 1 Heaven Dao soldier at most. It's the Heaven Dao soldiers. Spread out. The 3 foreign heavenly emperors' expressions changed, and they scattered. Boom! The Heaven Dao soldier trembled and charged forward. The 2-star celestial the Arch rushed over and waved his battle axe, clashing heavily with the Heaven Dao soldier. The 2-star celestial the Arch of the non-human race was knocked back by a violent tremor, and the small pagoda was also knocked back. Once he was a 1-star heavenly emperor, he could control the Heaven Dao soldiers and fight against 2-star heavenly emperors. Buzz! Buzz! At this moment, the other 2 foreign celestial thearchs pounced toward Bubbles and the others. Dandan's expression changed drastically. Bubble and the others did not have a heavenly emperor and were no match for a heavenly emperor. If the heavenly emperor managed to charge past them, the consequences would be unimaginable. Dandan gritted her teeth and controlled the Heaven Dao soldier to attack the 2 celestial emperors. Your opponent. That 2-star heavenly emperor sneered and rushed over again, waving his battle axe and killing towards Dandan. Dandan had no choice but to control the heavenly Dao soldiers and attack the other party. With Dandan's cultivation base, even if he controlled the Heaven Dao soldier, he could only resist 1 2-star celestial emperor at most. He really couldn't stop the other 2 1-star celestial emperors. Not good, you guys run, split up and run. Dandan roared. Now, it was better if one could escape. If you want to leave, don't even think about leaving. A non-human heavenly emperor sneered. He was extremely fast and caught up to Bubbles and the others in the blink of an eye, sending a palm strike out. Block Kit. An elder roared from within the army. He had the cultivation of a peak emperor, and he unleashed his full power as he charged toward the non-human celestial emperor. In addition, more than a dozen experts also attacked the heavenly emperor. They were all high-level great emperors, the elites of the army. Boom! The attacks from both sides collided. However, the heavenly emperor was still a heavenly emperor. Even a dozen high-tier great sovereigns working together were no match for him. On the Heaven Realm side, a dozen high-level great emperors were thrown back as they spat out blood. Especially those with weaker cultivation, their bodies exploded and they died on the spot. At this moment, the other foreign heavenly emperor had already approached Bubbles, Feng Ling, Long Chen, Ouyang Wushuang, and the others. Let's go all out. Let's fight it out with him. Ouyang Wushuang, Long Chen, and the others used all their strength with red eyes. Even if they were to die, they would die in battle. Whoosh! At this moment, a purple gold light flew over from the distance. Fast, it was too fast. In the blink of an eye, a purple gold light flew over. It was a purple gold spear. It was extremely sharp and stabbed at the foreign heavenly emperor with terrifying power. The non-human celestial thearch's expression changed as he sensed danger. He roared and attacked with all his might, clashing with the purple gold spear. Boom! With an earth-shattering explosion, the purple gold spear burst open. The foreign celestial thearch's body trembled violently and he retreated rapidly. He retreated hundreds of miles with one hand and his other hand trembled continuously, bleeding. We're saved. Bubbles, Ouyang Wushuang, Long Chen, and Phoenix Spirit were overjoyed. It seemed that a senior from the heaven realm had arrived. Who is it? The foreign celestial thearch roared. The person who will kill you. A cold voice was heard. Then, a purple gold light flashed and a figure appeared in the void. Lu Ming. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. When they saw the figure, Huang Ling, Ouyang Wushuang, and the others were stunned at first. They showed an expression of disbelief, and then they were overjoyed. It was Lu Ming. They were here and they actually saw Lu Ming. Wasn't Lu Ming captured and sent to the evil god realm? Why would he appear here? They still wanted to capture an important person from the other party and inquire about Lu Ming's information. All of this was too unexpected. In that case, Lu Ming had saved them just now. When they thought of this, they were even more shocked. The spear light just now had forced a heavenly emperor back and injured him. Brother Lu Ming. Bubbles cried out in surprise. Ha ha ha, Lu Ming, I knew you would be fine. Ha ha ha. Dandan laughed even more wildly. Chapter 2450 Killing a heavenly emperor in succession. Lu Ming swept his gaze across the crowd. He secretly heaved a sigh of relief when he realized that everyone was fine. Lu Ming, it's you. Not far away, Mo Tianluo's eyes were cold and filled with ferocious killing intent as he stared at Lu Ming. Mo Tianluo naturally knew that the entire prison suppression field had disappeared after the battle. He also knew that the people from the prison suppression field had come to the heaven realm. Mo Tianluo, what a coincidence. I'll send you on your way today. Lu Ming said coldly. Ha ha ha, what big words. Kill him. Mo Tianluo shouted and ordered his men to kill Lu Ming. Although Lu Ming's combat strength was strong and could even suppress the first prince, there were a few celestial thearchs here. He wanted Lu Ming to die here today. Kill! Kill! The two one-star heavenly emperors shouted and rushed toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming, be careful. Huang Ling and the others couldn't help but exclaim. However, Lu Ming's eyes were calm and the corners of his mouth curled into a cold smile. Purple gold light emanated from his body and condensed into a purple gold spear. Buzz! His muscles trembled, and his body rushed toward one of the one-star heavenly emperors at an extremely fast speed. Now that Lu Ming's physical body had broken through to the heavenly emperor realm, his muscles could vibrate 10 billion times in an instant. Wherever he passed, the void seemed to turn into a black hole, and everything was shattered. Boom! The long spear swept out and swept toward that one-star heavenly emperor. This is, Lu Ming's spear swept out. The foreign celestial thearch felt extremely terrifying as if he was about to be crushed by this spear. He screamed hysterically and tried to block it with all his might, but it was in vain. Bang! The non-human celestial thearch's body was like a sandbag that had been smashed into bits and pieces, flying everywhere. Everyone's eyes widened. Not only Dandan, Bubble, Huang Ling, and the rest, but a heavenly army that was fighting the alien races in the distance was also shocked. That was a celestial thearch, but he was killed by Lu Ming in seconds and exploded in the air. The impact was too strong. Mo Tianluo was even more dumbfounded. A few years ago, in the evil god realm, Lu Ming had challenged the longevity role. Although he was strong back then, he was only slightly stronger than the first prince. Although he was invincible among the great emperors, there was still a gap between him and the celestial the Arch. However, it had only been a short while and Lu Ming could blow up a celestial the Arch with one shot. This kind of combat strength was too terrifying. It had improved too quickly and it made him feel frightened. At this moment, the other non-human heavenly emperor was almost scared to death. He quickly retreated. "It's too late to leave now, let's go," Lu Ming said coldly. His muscles trembled and he dashed forward. In a few breaths, he caught up with the alien. "Save me!" The foreign celestial the Arch roared and charged toward the two-star celestial the Arch. He wanted that two-star heavenly emperor to save him, but he was controlling the Heaven Dao soldiers with all his might, constantly bombarding the other party, making it difficult for the other party to have the opportunity to help. Lu Ming had already arrived. His long spear swept out and enveloped a radius of 10,000 miles. The foreign celestial the Arch couldn't dodge, and he let out a desperate roar as he fought back. However, he was only a one-star heavenly emperor. How could he block Lu Ming's attack? The long spear swept past, and he followed in the footsteps of the foreign tribe member and was blown up in the air. Lu Ming flashed past and kept the other party's storage bracelet. "Run, run, run!" While Lu Ming was charging toward the alien, Mo Tianluo had already fled frantically. The rest of the army followed him and fled. "Stop him! Stop him for this prince! Do you hear me?" Mo Tianluo ordered his subordinates. However, no one listened to him. What a joke! If they stopped to stop Lu Ming, they would die. Who would be so foolish? At this moment, Lu Ming was chasing after Mo Tianluo. Mo Tianluo was so scared that he almost cried. He roared madly, "Stop him! Stop him! If you dare to disobey my orders, I'll kill your entire family. I'll exterminate your entire clan." However, the other alien races ran even faster than him. "It seems like no one is helping you." A cold voice came from behind Mo Tianluo. Mo Tianluo was so shocked that he jumped up. "Lu Ming, please spare me," Mo Tianluo shrieked. He was already scared out of his wits and didn't dare to resist at all. "You've tried to kill me and my friends time and time again. Is it possible for me to spare you?" Lu Ming sneered. He shook his long spear and a terrifying force crushed Mo Tianluo. Mo Tianluo screamed in pain and his body turned into dust. He died. Boom! At this moment, the two-star heavenly emperor was going all out. After exchanging a blow with Dandan, he seized the opportunity to escape. "Don't even think about leaving." Dandan roared and controlled the Heaven Dao soldier to chase after the other party with all its might. Powerful rays of light burst out from the Heaven Dao soldier and blasted towards the other party. As for Lu Ming, he also unleashed his speed to the maximum and chased after the other party. Kill all the outsiders. At this moment, Bubbles, Ouyang Wushuang, and the rest led their army and chased after the foreign races that were running away. Lu Ming's speed was extremely fast. In addition, the two-star heavenly emperor was being closely followed by Dandan, so it was difficult for him to fully display his speed. Soon, Lu Ming caught up with him. Whoosh! Lu Ming threw the long spear condensed by the way of domination at the two-star celestial the Arch of the foreign tribe at an extremely fast speed. The third eye of the two-star celestial the Arch shot out a beam of destructive light that collided with Lu Ming's long spear. Although he managed to block it, he could not help but pause for a moment. In this way, Dandan took the opportunity to catch up and control the Heaven Dao soldier. The small tower turned into a giant tower, emitting a vast pressure of the Heaven Dao, and suppressed the other party. The Great Desolation Spear appeared in Lu Ming's hands. Now that Lu Ming's physical body had reached the Heavenly Emperor realm, he could fully activate the power of the Heaven Dao soldier. The muscles on Lu Ming's palm trembled and the great desolation spear trembled violently as well. The pressure of the heavenly Tao spread out. Whoosh! Lu Ming arrived and thrust the great desolation spear. The two-star celestial the arch of the alien race blocked Dandan's attack. He wielded his giant axe and hacked at Lu Ming. Clang! With a deafening boom, the two-star celestial thearch's body trembled violently, and he was forced to retreat as he spat out a mouthful of blood. One move and he was injured. Moreover, the battle axe in his hand began to crack. A two-star heavenly emperor was indeed much stronger than a one-star heavenly emperor. However, he did not have a heaven Tao soldier. On the other hand, the current Lu Ming could fight a two-star heavenly emperor with just his physical body and the great desolation spear. With the addition of the ruler's Tao, Lu Ming's combat strength was completely above that of a two-star heavenly emperor. Kill! Lu Ming let out a long howl and charged forward again. At the same time, Dandan also controlled the heaven Tao soldier and charged over. Being besieged by Lu Ming and Dandan, the other party was even more outmatched. Even if they tried their best, it would be useless. After barely blocking a few moves, Lu Ming's spear struck his body, almost splitting him in two. Then, he controlled the heaven Tao soldier to suppress and kill this person completely. Chapter 2451 Grandfather The two-star celestial the arch of the non-human race had been killed, and the three other non-human celestial thearchs had fallen. Bubbles and the others led the army to chase after the alien races and killed a large number of them. The remaining alien races managed to escape. Lu Ming, you're amazing. I didn't expect you to surpass me again. Dandan looked at Lu Ming with a depressed look. Hee, isn't it normal to be surpassed by me? Who am I? I'm an invincible heaven's favorite. In front of Dandan, Lu Ming's skin was thicker than his. Sure enough, Dandan was even more displeased and revealed a look of shock. Let's go, well continue to kill the enemy. Lu Ming arrived and looked at the alien camp in the distance. There, a great army of the heavenly realm was fighting with the army of the foreign races. Kill! She gritted her teeth and wanted to vent her frustration at Lu Ming on the alien race. Seeing Lu Ming and his companion coming over, the alien races were shocked and quickly retreated into the military camp, activating the formation to resist. The two of them arrived outside the military camp. Greetings to the two heavenly emperors. In the heavenly realm army, many people were very respectful. In fact, there were some people who were more familiar with Lu Ming in this heaven realm army. For example, 2 of the 9 absolutes of the heaven realm were among them. However, at this moment, they were looking at Lu Ming with eyes full of respect. It was obvious that Lu Ming had already become a heavenly emperor. From then on, he was high and mighty. If they wanted to become heavenly emperors, they didn't know how many years it would take and how many things they had to go through. Their former opponent had now become a heavenly emperor. He had far surpassed them, and they felt very complicated. Everyone, there's no need to be so polite. Lu Ming waved his hands casually. With that, Lu Ming's gaze swept across the non-human camp. He realized that apart from activating the formation, most of the people had actually retreated to the back. Brother Lu Ming. At this moment, Bubbles and the rest flew over. Bubbles dashed into Lu Ming's arms. Bubble, you've grown up. Lu Ming touched Bubbles' small head. After not seeing each other for more than 100 years, Bubbles had finally grown up a little. She looked like a 7 or 8-year-old girl and was even cuter. Of course. Pow Pow pouted, her face red. Let's leave this place and return to Two World City. Lu Ming said. He believed that the news of what had happened here would soon spread to the other foreign races, and at that time, even stronger foreign races would definitely come. With Lu Ming's current strength and the Great Desolation Spear, he was confident that he could protect himself even if he encountered a 3-star heavenly emperor. However, it would be difficult to protect the others. If a peerless expert at the level of a 4-star heavenly emperor came, he would not even be able to protect himself. Alright, let's go back. Dandan also nodded. The other army was also planning to return to Two World City. Everyone flew towards Two World City together. There were no accidents along the way, and they returned to Two World City safely not long after. They had not seen each other for many years and naturally, there were many topics to talk about. Dandan, Bubbles, and Huang Ling were very curious about Lu Ming's experiences over the years. They pulled Lu Ming to drink with them and chatted. Lu Ming briefly recounted his experience over the years, shocking everyone. During this period of time, Lu Ming learned that Long Chen had returned to the Divine Wilderness and married Xian Yinlin. Lu Ming was happy for him. As time passed, he had let go of the grudges between him and the Xie family. It wasn't until the next day that the crowd dispersed. Lu Ming went to a courtyard and stayed there. He planned to return to the primordial realm in 2 days to visit his parents. However, just a day later, Dandan, Bubbles, Long Chen and the rest arrived at Lu Ming's residence. Ha ha ha, Lu Ming, look who we have brought. Dandan laughed. Who is it? Lu Ming smiled and swept his gaze across the room. Then, he saw a young man in the crowd. He looked like he was in his 20s. He had an imposing appearance and was extraordinarily handsome. He looked 70 to 80% similar to Lu Ming. Divine Wilderness. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Although more than 100 years had passed, Lu Ming could immediately tell from the aura that this young man was Lu Shenhuang. Father! Lu Shenhuang shouted out, his eyes filled with surprise. Then, Shenhuang Lu walked over while holding a young lad's hand. This lady was extremely beautiful and was no less beautiful than Feng Ling and Qiu Yu. She was carrying a little girl who was about 2 to 3 years old. She had 2 pigtails and was extremely cute. Father! The young lady blinked her big eyes and looked at Lu Ming curiously. She called out softly. Cheer, call Grandpa. Lu Shenhuang looked at the little girl. Grandpa, Grandpa, the little girl called out in her childish voice. What? Lu Ming was tongue-tied and stunned. It was obvious that the young lady was Lu Shenhuang's wife and the little girl was his daughter. He went around the evil god world and didn't expect that Lu Shenhuang was already married and had a daughter. Ha ha ha, Lu Ming, are you stupid? Dandan laughed. Get lost. Lu Ming berated Dandan. Then, he looked at Lu Shenhuang and the rest with a big smile on his face. Good, good, good. Lu Ming said good a few times, his heart filled with warmth. These were all his family. Divine Wilderness, what are their names? Lu Ming asked. Father, her name is Mu Wanxian, this little guy is Lu Qi. Lu Shenhuang introduced. Alright, alright. Lu Qi, come, let Grandpa hug you. Lu Ming extended his hand to Lu Qi. The little girl was not shy with strangers at all. She climbed onto Lu Ming and rolled around in his arms. Lu Ming carefully used the world energy to support Lu Qi, as if he was afraid that she would fall. In 2 years, she can start cultivating. Lu Ming smiled and instructed Lu Shenhuang. Yes, I've been using spirit herbs to build her foundation. I'll let her cultivate in 2 years. Lu Shenhuang nodded. Have you met your grandparents? Lu Ming asked again. Lu Shenhuang was stunned for a moment before he shook his head. No, I didn't. Come with me to see them tomorrow. Lu Ming said. All right. Lu Ming and Shenhuang nodded. Everyone talked and laughed, and after a while, Dandan and the others left tactfully. Only Lu Ming, Lu Shenhuang, Mu Wanxian and Lu Qi were left in the courtyard. The little girl had been snuggling in Lu Ming's arms and was reluctant to come out. Little fellow, Lu Ming smiled. Then, his body was filled with purple gold light, which enveloped Lu Qi. This was the power of a ruler. The power of domination dominated the world and was supreme. Lu Ming wanted to use the power of domination to build a foundation for Lu Qi and improve his body. The ruler's power was so mysterious that it could adjust Lu Kai's body to the best state. Lu Shenhuang and Mu Wanxian naturally knew what Lu Ming wanted to do. They stood quietly at the side and did not say a word. Lu Ming only finished after a full day. Lu Kai's body had undergone earth-shaking changes. It had become pure and stainless. When he started cultivating in the future, his cultivation speed would be extremely shocking. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.